Okay, good day, guys. Good day to you all. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Welcome back. I think I am live. Have we used StreamYard in a while, so I think I'm live. Yeah, I am live. Welcome back to the Formula Sports. Hold on. Forget to turn off the something. Yeah. All right. So welcome back to the Formula Sports channel, people. Said that probably the third time. Um, we're doing a show talking about the preview to the game tomorrow. So we're talking about that. And we're talking a bit about captains. Talking a bit about captains. Seeing that, could you say controversial Netflix series? Seeing, and for those of you who don't know, FIFA would have done a Netflix series with a couple of captains of some national teams, and Andre Blake being one of them, right? And basically detailed, or I shouldn't say detailed, for want of a better term, they accompanied the captain throughout the World Cup qualifiers. They kind of recently concluded World Cup qualifiers. So, we have gotten some insight or some behind the scenes looks seen at what was taking place during the World Cup qualifiers involving Jamaica. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk a bit about the Cameroon fixture, which is tomorrow, early, bright and early tomorrow morning. That is, if I'm not mistaken, 9:30, and there's still no word yet as to the broadcaster. In terms of literally, the JFF has said that that determination has not been made as yet in terms of what network will be broadcasting the game. So, literally at this time, we don't know how we're going to see that game, if we're going to be able to see it any at all. And I'm sure many of you would want to see that particular game, including myself. So we'll be on the lookout to see, you know, if there are any updates as it pertains to where we'll be able to watch that particular game. Seeing, knock up like button, subscribe and share for those who haven't done so already. Free and easy ways to support the channel. Seeing, all right, what should I talk about first? Should I talk about the controversial, I guess you could call it controversial Captain's Netflix series first? Probably not. By the way, I don't look forward to talking or speaking on that particular subject matter. I really and truly don't look forward to it because, it involves controversy, and it involves a particular, not that I shy away from controversy, but it involves a particular topic that I really don't like discussing. Seeing, this whole Jamaican born versus UK born theme was probably the main theme of the series. Seeing, so I don't look forward to discussing it because I know that I just don't like talking about it. Not that we should ignore the problems, but it's just like I'm over it now. We need to move on as a nation, and this is something that has been bothering us and bothering our football for the longest time now. But we'll get to that. Firstly, let's start off with the Cameroon game tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Um, as I said, the JFF has stated that broadcast has not been determined as yet. I don't know how so close to a game, unless there have been updates where that is concerned. The last time I heard was that a determination had not been made as to who will be broadcasting the game. Let me see if anything has changed. Hold on. Let me see if anything has changed. Let me see if anything has changed. Hold on a second. Yeah, as I said the last time I heard, no broadcaster was determined for this football game. So and I haven't seen anything that suggests that has changed. So I mean, I don't understand how that works. Yeah. Very, very, yeah, there's still no change with regard to that. So that's disappointing to know that. That's disappointing. We'll talk about that, Colin Quest. Don't worry. That's disappointing to know that literally a couple hours before the match, Reggae Boyz fans still don't know where we are going to see this football game. I don't understand that. As a matter of fact, the JFF said we have not confirmed any broadcasters yet. That's literally what they have said. So I don't understand how couple hours before the match that crucial bit of business hasn't been sorted as yet. I hope that tomorrow morning we don't see a mad scramble for the game, in terms of to see the game, And I hope we eventually get to see the game. That's the most important thing. Because it might be a relatively meaningless friendly to some extent. But me personally, I still want to see. I mean, I want to see my national team play every time. And also, I want to see what some of these young guns do. So let's hope that is sorted. Rap Smith said, Formula, I hope you're a reasonable man that watched the documentary and not one of these people with their predetermined agendas. I try to be reasonable. I try to be objective. I don't go in with predetermined agendas. I try to look at it from all different perspectives. And we'll get to that quickly. For those of you who don't know, Coach Jaime Hall Grimson would have spoken a little bit earlier and would have spoke about the team arriving a day late. I hope that is not because of any foul-ups by the JFF. I mean, we have a new Gensec. I know that he's new, and he would have he'd just be taking up the position. If I'm not mistaken, he'd be only a couple of days into it. So, I understand he's new, but we're kind of dying to hear of the days of players reaching late and that sort of stuff. That was actually a bit of a talking point in the Netflix series as well, when Liam Moore, was arriving late, seemingly because of travel foul-ups. So he spoke about that. So it was really supposed to be 5 days of training. It ended up being 4. He also, and this, I figured this much. I was trying to do research into it to see if I could confirm it, but the gaffer did confirm it that they won't be playing the World Cup team. It will be, I think they refer to it as the Cameroon A team. I think they refer to it as the Cameroon A team, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, it is a squad that is comprised, from what is being reported, entirely of local or of Cameroon based, right, players. It's more than likely the UNCAF team. The UNCAF team, I spoke about this a little while ago when we played the Moroccan A team, where in Africa they kind of have like A team and then a B team. So they have like two separate national teams. How they work it in Africa is that you have the senior team, which is the main guns, the main players, the top team, the top players, and then you have like a B team, which is referred to as the UNCAF team. So there's a tournament in Africa where it's like the African Cup of Nations, but only for African-based players. So it's only players who ply their trade on the continent of Africa. So whichever team qualifies for it, one, to qualify for it, and two, to play in it, it's only a local-based squad. Your best players in your respective league, domestic leagues, right? So players based outside of these African teams cannot play in that UNCAF tournament, right? So as I suspected, it would have been the UNCAF team, and so said, so done. The gaffer would have confirmed that earlier, basically saying that it is a Cameroon-based team, a team that plays in the Cameroon, in the domestic competition, league competition in Cameroon. So that's not surprising. Again, I saw Mannings as well talking earlier about Speedy not being in it. So Mannings would have confirmed that earlier on. Big up Mannings as well. Big up all other vloggers, by the way. Big up all other vloggers. Mannings would have been talking about Taxi Lawrence will not be featuring in it, right? And also Devon Speedy Williams, who was supposed to be confirmed from what Mannings was reporting, and from what we heard earlier, Taxi wasn't confirmed, but Speedy was confirmed, but Speedy apparently will not be making the trip. I don't know the reason for it, right? But Speedy won't be involved. Hit me up in the comment section. You guys want to see Kim or Taxi Lawrence back in the national setup? It looked like him retire for real, sometimes the ball of them retire in a frustration and then forward back a couple months later. Me personally, I want to see him back, because people might be looking at the left back position and seeing that it is our strongest position. Yes, it's probably our strongest position behind the forward position, the center forward position. No to the Taxi. It's probably our strongest position in terms of strength in depth, second to the center forward position. But guys, come on. We want to see Taxi back up and running, right? You cannot have too much depth in a position. So even if he's not in the top two, if Greg Lay or Amari Bell, who I believe is Jamaica's best left fullback, and I think everybody has arrived at that conclusion by now. When I initially said it, people ridiculed me, right? But based on what he was doing in the Gold Cup, which I thought he did well in the Gold Cup, but because he never go forward that much, I mean, I tell you, say the system with Tapa employ, blah, 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 blah. But if one of those two players are out for whatever reason, who is the third choice if it's not Taxi? Oh no, would I rather see Ricardo Thomas? To be fair to Ricardo Thomas, he hasn't done poorly in the performances I've seen him for the national team. To be fair to him, I'm not the biggest fan of JPL players in the national team, but to be fair to him, he hasn't done well either, but he hasn't really done poorly. But yeah, so I disagree with Up and Running, even if he's not in our top two, which I think he is our second best left back. Many of you might think it's Gregory, and that's fine. Probably on form, it is Gregory, but I would love to see Taxi come back in the national program. I hope he hasn't fully retired, and it seems as if he is making the decision to retire out of frustration more than actually coming to a realization that his time is up, because his time is not up. He still has a lot that he can give to Jamaica's national program, right? I mean, this is a player who was a starter for a team that went to the MLS playoffs, right? And, you know, he did reasonably well. So me personally, I think that he has a lot of value that he can add to the national team. Same way, right? Same way. Hold up. Spammers in the chat, block user. Spammers in the chat, block user. All right, he's gone. So yeah, Rob Smith said Taxi not there. I would like to see, yeah, up and running, but me say it number video. I think that's the one disappointment with this particular squad that was selected, you know. I think that's the one disappointment for me, right? Joey Desert, no Joey Desert. And I don't understand how that work. I don't understand how that work. Right, the best CDM on this side of the world that Jamaica has available to them currently, we don't call up, and we need CDMs. It's not like we have CDMs aplenty. We need CDMs. So I don't really understand how that works. How we need CDMs, and the best CDM, the CDM that's proven at the highest level, right? This side of the world. Because I'm not look. Big up Kevin Lambert, but me not ask no question, you know. Joey Desert is a better CDM than Kevin Lambert, you know. No if, no but, no maybe, you know. Me not ask Christ, you know. Tell me I tell you. See? Me not ask Christ. Tell me I tell you. So, and we have seen enough, like we have seen a lot of Lambert. Right? We have a good idea of what he can do from what he can't do. Seen? So, I don't know what it's going to take for Joey Desert to get a chance. I honestly don't know what it's going to take for Joey Desert to get a chance, man. Honestly, it's a long time coming. And he's probably the only one. Cousins, yeah, he's probably the only one that hasn't gotten a chance. He's probably the only CDM, like professional CDM, eligible to us that hasn't gotten a chance. Cousins has gotten a chance. Kevin Stewart has gotten a chance. Lambert has gotten a chance. Who else has gotten a chance? Haka has gotten a chance. Right? So me personally, I'd love to see something there. Get a chance in the national team and Joey Desert. I think he's a quality CDM. I just think that he needs a change of environment, man. I think that unfortunately he's at a club that him can't get game time, but he proved last season that he's have the quality to play significant amount of games in the MLS. He has proven that. Improved that last season. Even the commentators in games that he played last season in the MLS was praising his impact in the national setup. So the mere fact that he already has a full season playing a significant amount of games in the MLS suggests that he should have on merit made the squad. He has proven himself at a higher level than Kevin Lambert. Ryan, what's happening, man? Big up, long time. Big up. Yeah. I mean, every day struggle, but once you have life, everybody good. Much appreciated, and I hope your family is doing well as well, man. I hope your family is doing well. Right, Ryan LFC, or well, him change him name now, Ryan Sports Classic. Burning the fire probably on a nightly basis, right? And by the way, Ryan, may I talk about a controversial issue coming up, May I talk about the whole captains thing, May I talk about the whole captains thing, and I soon talk about it, Firstly, may I go share my squad. Probably my best 11 that I would like to see in tomorrow's game. Hold on, I'm gonna bring up the application to show it on screen. Quickly run through a starting 11 where I think would have been the best starting 11 to play in that game tomorrow. Let me share it on screen quick and fast. Yeah, man, all the best to the Reggae Boyz, man. Always Lambert not play. Yo, I'm gonna live for no man, Michael Lambert. Hold on. Michael Lambert, you're related to Kevin Lambert, my G. Hit me up in the comment section and let me know. You're related to the last name that you have sound very familiar, It sound like you take it personal, my boss, like Lambert or your baller. Lambert is kind of common name still, Hit me up in the comment section. You're related to the baller? I'm want to hear a response to, Want to hear a response, But Michael, I tell you already, I rate Kevin Lambert, but not as a CDM. I tell you, I rate Lambert as a centre back. I have no problem with Lambert making the national team, If it is as a centre back, yeah, sure, I have no problem with that. But if I make the national team as a CDM, I just want to lose me. I just want to lose me if Lambert is making the national team as a CDM. So, and I don't want to think like I rate Lambert. I rate Lambert, but I rate him as a centre back. I think every time I see Lambert play centre back, him look like a quality centre back, especially in the national team. Every time Lambert plays centre back, he looks like a really good option at centre back. But most times, 99% of the time, Lambert plays as a CDM. Baller, he look last, man. Big up Lambert still. All right, so make a look on the do a quick run through of the starting 11. My personal starting 11. See, you can agree with me, you can disagree with me. However, I'd much prefer if you agreed with me. See, but it's okay if you disagree. Make a set a bomb and change the formation. My is 4-2-3-1 my favorite formation. Probably I got a little bit too far in saying 4-3-3 are the favorite, but I think we'll see a lot of that though from Hal Grimson. I think we'll see a lot of 4-2-3-1 from Hal Grimson. All right. Who would I put a goalkeeper in? I mean, goalkeeper kind of obvious still, Cause me personally, me really want to see what the youth can do in a national team, you know. Right? We already talk about how we know who the first choice goalkeeper is. Right? But me not see him name a pop up so. Yeah, just because I can't remember the something the me not see him name a pop up right so it don't look like him in the database. Or I may spell him name wrong. I spell him name right. Him name in another database at all. I just because I can't remember where the other database name, you know. Jaja, Ryan, you remember where the other database name, my boss? Not a database, but like where you can show the squad layout on the screen. Try and look for it quick and fast. Just because I can't remember where the other database name, you know. Alright, anyways. Jamali Wait. You know, he's the person who would have want to see in the goal. As we said, we know who the first choice goalkeeper is, right? You know, well, it's the first choice goalkeeper is Andre Blake, seen on sporting merit, right? We soon go into that a little bit more. But we don't know right now, there's uncertainty right now as to who the second or third choice keepers are. And that's good. That's a good problem to have, right? The names in contention: Corey Adai, Dylan Barnes, Jamali Waite, Kanaya Boyce Clark, and probably Amal Knight. I wouldn't put Jordan. Oh God, where Cavaliers keeper name again, man? Where Cavaliers goalkeeper name again, man? Oh, him name slip me, man. The former Stats goalkeeper. I don't know me at all. The Cavaliers and former Stats goalkeeper. I wouldn't put him in the conversation right now. But yeah. So which one of those goalkeepers are gonna step up and be that second and third choice? I mean, we assumed for some time it was looking like it was gonna be Dylan Barnes, but given his current predicament with where club football is concerned and him not having a club the last time I checked, which was fairly recently, you know, and some other goalkeepers stepping up like Corey Adai is now a starter in the English fourth tier, right? You know, his fortunes has changed in recent times. Jamali Waite being brought into the picture. Kanaya Boyce Clark impressing with the U20s and also last season at his club. What was the club he was at again, man? Reading loaned him out to a club in the English sixth tier. And I watched a number of those performances, you know. He did okay, right? And certainly, well, he did well and certainly impressed in the U20s. So it's just a matter of which one of those will step up. Amal Knight, we have seen him in the national team on a number of occasions, right? Always looks at a pretty decent goalkeeper. So yeah, I think the second and third choice is up for grabs, right? And really and truly, I don't know who is our second best goalkeeper right now, to be honest with you. So Jamali Waite is more than likely gonna get the start, and he will have to prove and show, and I'm sure he will have plenty of opportunity. I'm sure he will have plenty of opportunity in tomorrow's game to prove if he's ready or if he's worthy enough, right? More than likely we're gonna be up against it tomorrow if I were a betting man. So Yeah, if he has a big game tomorrow, you know, that's good for him and his future in the national team, certainly in the immediate future. Rob Smith says someone saying better than Blake already. Yo, you know, I'm not like with the football sometimes, especially as fans. The fans them very emotive in them reasoning sometimes. They don't argue things, we don't argue things logically sometimes. Because I've heard this, as crazy as this sounds, I've heard people say this, Rob Smith. I agree with you. I have heard people say this. I've heard people say this. That Kanaya Boys Clark is already better than Andre Blake. Which is mind-blowing to me. It's like people want to forget all of what Andre Blake has done for the national team. Just because they have a perception of him. Right? And we'll get to that. We'll get to that very, very shortly, right? All right. That thing up on screen is probably not the best. That thing up on... Not sure if I remember the name of the other something man where you can use and show the screen and the show the team on the screen, man. I had it saved in my phone, but I can't find it right now. Come on, if I have the whole team laid out. The sad reality is, what I just realized is that a number of these players, we're not going to be able to see them here on this particular software I'm using right now. We're not going to be able to see them. We're not going to be able to see them at all. All right. Left back. Who would I put as left back? Who would I put as left back? By the way, you guys think Kemar Foster is in the conversation for the goalkeepers as well? Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know. Who would I put as left back now? At left back, this Ricardo Thomas is probably the best person right now. You guys agree or disagree? Ricardo Thomas at left back. I mean, he has the most experience from a national team standpoint. So I'd put Ricardo Thomas at left back. At right back, obviously Javian Brown. Centre back, Damian Lowe and Richard King. I think that's pretty obvious. Let me see if Richard King name in this thing. You know, me that probably put Richard King on the right centre back thing, you know, because Richard King, you know, to have Richard King and something up on the same on the left hand side of the defense, you know. Richard King and Thomas, you know. Alright, so Richard King there. Even though I don't think that's the right Richard King, but he's still a Richard King, so we'll work with him. Damian Lowe at left centre back. By the way, how is Richard King still in the island? I don't understand how that works. I thought Richard King did get big agent and was about to make big move, go to MLS or Europe. What? Ricardo Thomas in that database, you lie. So Ricardo Thomas in that database, yeah, and Jamal Wait in that database, yeah. I probably I spell it wrong, you know. Georgia. All right, so that's my. Hold on, I'm gonna put the right back yet. And by the way, I don't think them still probably not add Javian Brown in that database, you know. No Javian Brown. How is that MLS player not in this database? I'm just going to put, how them did normally have Isaiah Brown or Easy Brown. All right. So, you know this thing go already, you know. When you see Easy Brown, you know say a Javian Brown. Seeing? You know this thing go already. So, no stress me in the comment section. Easy Brown is Javian Brown. You know that go already. Seeing? You know that go already. Amal Knight should have been there. Yeah. I wouldn't fight that, you know, Rob. I wouldn't fight that at all. I wouldn't fight that at all. All right. Who are going to put in at the midfield now? Oh, God. All right. So we have to go with Kevin Lambert. Although, you know what me to do still? Hold on. I have a bright idea, you know. I have a bright idea, you know. Pamela smart, you know, man. Holy percent me have, you know. I'll Demario Phillips in that database and Javian Brown in this and Jamali wait. What kind of madness this, man? Look on a bright idea, yeah. Look on the screen. Look on a bright idea there. Look on a bright idea there. What do you think about that? Damian Lowe. I remember when we did do the video months ago, probably a year ago now, over a year now for sure. When we did do the video, I say Kante Lowe. Remember that video there after the Serbia game when Damian Lowe had the very impressive performance in the middle of the park. What do you think about that? That can work too, you know. You know what? I'm going to go with that as my best. As my best 11, you know. When me personally would have do. As me said, I don't know about Kevin Lambert as a CDM, but I know about him as a centre back. See? Boom, Lamar Walker. What do you think about that midfield? That midfield can go on with a little thing, you know. You agree or disagree? That midfield can go on with a little thing, man. King is on the island because no teams come with a real interest. He just want more hype up players that done nothing much in football yet. Up and running, I can't agree with that. I can't agree with that. King has shown tremendous potential in the national team. Tremendous potential in the national team. Come on. Come on. I agree that, you know, the JPL is a relatively low level of football. It is a semi-professional league, to be fair. But he has played enough games in the national team and done well. I still think he's not the finished product. He's a young talent that has tremendous potential, not quite the finished product. On the defensive side of the things, off the ball, I think he has some areas that he needs to improve on. And I think that is just a bit of luck why he has not been punished for some of those misgivings. But certainly, especially from an on-the-ball standpoint, he is a talent. Come on up and running. You're one of them brother they when up. You're one of them Jamaican fans that when give Jamaican born or developed players even a chance. Like all when them do good, you still a beat them. Like look, I say it already, you know. I do have an issue with it's not Jamaican developed players I have an issue with, you know. Right? My whole thing is that as soon as them reach 18, the top talents, as soon as them reach 18, they're on a plane ideally to Europe. Seen? And we have seen that can reap success when they leave Jamaica as teenagers and go to Europe as teenagers and go into good environments. We see we see Kaim Paris, right? We see Norman Campbell, a starter in the Serbian top flight, right? We obviously see Shamar Bowser Nicholson and where he is right now and what he's doing. He's a starter for the team ranked second in the Russian Premier League. What I have an issue with is that JPL players now, I don't think are ready for the national team. I'm not going to argue with anyone who says the best in the JPL should occasionally get a chance in the national team to prove themselves. So if a baller push up him head in the JPL like Richard King and he must star up the thing, I'm not going to argue with anybody who says that the best from our top flight first division, the very best, should get a chance, should get a look into at least see what them can do. I'm not going to argue against that. But consistently throwing a bag of JPL players into the national team, may not agree with. But notwithstanding, if a JPL player goes into the national team and does well, me I go give him flowers. Yo, that's so now we. Me I go give him ratings. Because we not give man flowers, you know. We are going to give him ratings. In. But, and we have to give Richard King him ratings. We have to give Richard King him ratings. No doubt, he has done well. The last time I saw a baller a JPL baller who really stepped up in the national team like how King step up is Kimar Taxi Lawrence. Malik Foster did have a 1 and 2 bright moments, but he kind of vanished into thin air. But who consistently did well out of the JPL, straight out of the JPL into the national team, Lawrence. We wouldn't discover Kemar Taxi Lawrence and him wouldn't know which part him there right now if he wasn't given a chance. So let us be fair and objective to the JPL players, man. King has done reasonably well, man, to be fair to him. Javan plays well low are doing at the midfield. I put low in at the midfield because I'm rather low in at the midfield over Lambert. 1, 2. I put low in at the midfield because I remember him Serbia performance. If he can replicate a Serbia performance in this game, me rather low in at the midfield. Low, that one performance, well loaded game at the midfield versus Serbia, a credible Serbian team with players playing at a very high level. It wasn't the full strength squad, yes, but still a number of top players were in it. Right, and Damian Lowe bossed the midfield, controlled the midfield against. They had players who were starters in top 5 leagues in that Serbian team. Remember Gudel, who, if memory serves right, was a starter at Sevilla at the time. And Damian Lowe took control of the midfield. To be fair, him did boss at halftime, but yeah, you know, he made it kind of take him, but hopefully him can learn from that. And you know, if him, we'd love to see him get another run out in the midfield. If you give me the option of Damian Lowe or Kevin Lambert in the middle of the park, me I go with Lowe. Me I go with Lowe. The one half there add up to more than what Kevin Lambert doing in his entire national team career as a CDM. Me not take back me talk. Me no business who Bex. Me no business who Bex. I don't think King have looked out of place in the national team. He has had good games and bad games just like most 19 to 20-year-olds. He has had mostly good games. Some games where 1 and 2 mistakes were made, but mostly good games. Put Harvey in there. By as much as I rate Lambert as a CDM, I go with the if I had a choice between Harvey or Lambert, me go with Lambert. I don't know if you guys are, simply because one is a JPL player and one is a USL player. I mean, I know many of you might not think highly of the USL, but it's a far better league than the JPL. You have Champions League winners playing in the USL. Miami FC, Lamar Walker's team, has a Champions League, as a player who won the Champions League as a starter in it. Players who played in the Serie A. Take Lamar Walker starting game at Miami FC. So the USL is of a certain level, certainly much higher than the JPL. What? Jamaican youth travels? My boss, you know watch a game them. You know watch a game them. You know watch a game them. Ricardo, oh, King would be better in the middle. You know, I thought about that. But you see, because I see players, I see them in the national team at this level, I'm not going to take him out of his comfort zone. I've seen Damian Lowe play as I see them at the national level. Oh, Jamaican youth travel. Sorry, me I spoil up your name, boss. Jamaican youth travel. Seriously? You never watched the Mexico game, especially in the first half in the Nations League? My boss, what you talk about? Lambert was all over the place. Jamaican youth travels. Watch back that. If I can find that game, then watch it back. Watch it back. Watch it back. May I tell you, watch back that game there. Lambert was all over the place in that Mexico Nations League game. What you talking about, man? What you talking about? All over the place. On both sides of the ball. For starters, his ball usage at the international level is not the best. You could tell in the Suriname game, especially the Suriname game in Suriname, his ball usage was poor. Because if you guys remember, Lambert was the one receiving the ball from the centre backs in that Suriname game and kickstarting the play. In the next Suriname game in Kingston, Paul Hall switched up that and gave that kickstarting the play responsibility to Speedy. And if memory serves right, he was Speedy because he realized Sir Lambert ball usage poor at this level. See how Giovanni plays, Sir Lambert is a statue in our midfield. No mobility, no passing, just vibes. I can't remember a performance when I ever see Kevin Lambert when play well. As a CDM. As me say, I rate Lambert as a centre back. I'm tired for say it. Because I don't want to create the wrong impression. I rate Lambert as a centre back, but as a CDM, look on the Japan game. Oh God, man. The Japan U23 game, man. Oh God, man. I mean, the whole team was poor, but Lambert was the worst out of all the players on the park. If you want to see mistakes by a CDM, watch that game there. Lambert was all over the place in that game. The amount of mistake Lambert making in that game, they can't count. Even though, to be fair to him, the whole team never performed well. The team wasn't set up right either. But, you know, Lambert make a ton load of mistake in the national team. Man. What you talking about? All right. So, I don't think some people have an issue with Low in the midfield, but that's my midfield personally. If you guys disagree, that's okay. Damian Lowe, Demario Phillips, and Lamar Walker. I think Demario Phillips, I mean, every time I see him in the JPL, he looks one of the best technically gifted midfielders in the JPL. Every time I see him play, he stands out. For starters, he's a busy bee. He's putting the work in the middle of the park. Mobility on both sides of the ball. Mobility with especially JPL midfielders is a problem. Them not mobile enough. Them not understand the concept of mobility and how important it is in facilitating good midfield play on both sides of the ball. Seeing? So, for starters, his work rate on and off the ball, very good. He is one of the few controllers I see in the JPL. For those of you who know what a controller in midfield is, like a Ravel type of baller, or like a Marco Verratti, or like a Luka Modric, right? You know, get it, knock it, move, receive it, get it, knock it, move, receive it, and progress the ball up the park. Right? And I think he is probably the best one. He's probably the best person that can play number 8 that I see in this current squad. Right? Especially given the fact that Speedy, from what is being reported by credible sources, Speedy will not be there. I watched that game, Michael. I watched that game. But to be honest with you, all I can remember from that game is, if memory serves me right, Peter Lee Vassell had a good game. And I remember when Boza came on and looked electric and sharp. That was shortly after Boza had made the move to Slovenia, you know. I remember I said to myself, so boy, you can see the impact that Slovenia has had on Boza. It probably wasn't shortly. It was a good little while after. But if memory serves me right, it was Boza's first time in the national team after making the move to Slovenia. Seeing a lot of people say that Lambert played well in that game. Truth be told, I don't remember that. Probably me need to go back, go watch the match there. But fine, I'll give you guys that. Lambert played well in that America game. Seeing? Which other game? Because I watch a ton load of Lambert in the national team and me no see it. Me no see it. Me sorry. Me no see it. Every time people talk about Lambert play well, them always reference this game against the US. Fine. Me'll give you that. Which other game? Which me I beg you know, which other game? I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. Alright, so me personally, this is my midfield. Nana, Phillips, Lamar Walker, who disagree with me, go kick rocks. This is Jamaica's best midfield that we can select, in my humble opinion. If you disagree, fine. You know, we respectfully disagree around here. But I think this is the best looking midfield for this particular game, in my humble opinion. All right, let's go up front now. Let's go up front. Let's go up front. Put the ball in a system to, you know, because Bex, if him not depend this, you know. Raja, him not depend it. All right. I'm gonna put Justin McMullen, but I don't know it go already, people. The Justin McMullen is actually Justin McMaster. Seen? What? Yo, sometimes when I make some talking, man. Yo, big up yourself up and running. What? SBF is better watching? By the way, a decent game of football played today, you know. Stats versus Wolmers, you know. A decent game of football played today, you know. SBF though is better watching, you think so? SBF is better marketed and has more excitement generated by the fans in the stands and that sort of a thing. Which is sad. How a schoolboy competition generates more excitement in Jamaica than the Jamaican first tier, the National Premier League. Yo, Jamaica run backwards, you know, man. When I think about it, you know, Jamaica really run backwards, you know, man. I don't think I've seen schoolboy football jerseys with the names of the players on the back of the jerseys. I don't think I have ever seen a JPL team with the names of the players on the back of the jersey. If you guys have seen it, correct me. I have never seen a JPL team with the names of the players on the back of the jersey. Me not remember that. Probably my memory not so good. It's like everything in a Jamaica run backwards to how it's supposed to run. Me no know. Anyways, the right winger, Justin McMaster. Right, you guys see the McMullen on your screen. I don't know what it is. Right? That are just because we can't find him name in the database. Yeah, I mean, he's clearly the best right winger we have in this team. I think, I'm eager to see what this boy does in the national team. I think he has potential. I think he has promise. It's just so unfortunate that he had such a good start to his MLS career, but then for no reason at all was just forgotten by Minnesota United. He was doing well. The commentators were praising his substitute appearances that injected life and energy into Minnesota's attack, and then probably 4 games in or so just forgotten. I think he also got an injury during that time as well, and if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves me right, but has never really been given a chance back in Minnesota's team subsequent to, his first foray into the MLS. So, I think he needs a change of environment. I think he needs a new club, even at the MLS. I think there are clubs in the MLS that he can make an impact in. I think one of the things with the MLS too, it is a fast-growing league, and the quality of the league is just it's rising at a very rapid pace. You have to keep up with it. So yeah, I'm eager to see what Justin McMaster does in the national setup. As a player, the couple of times I see him in the MLS, I have some time for him, man. I'm eager to see what he does. Through the middle, I would go. Ooh, this is a tricky one, Ooh. Who me that go with through the middle? Peter McGregor or Jordan Fletcher? I think those are the two for me, It's one of them two that through the middle for me, Me not go with through the middle. You know what? Me I go with Jordan Fletcher through. No, lie. Me I go with Peter McGregor through the middle and put Jordan Fletcher out wide. I think that's a good thing. All right, Peter McGregor. Georgia, no Peter McGregor. All right, you don't know the thing already. Peter McGill is Peter McGregor. See? So I need to find back that thing though, that software that we used to use, Jordan Fletcher out wide. When you think about that starting 11 there? Yeah, me know someone would have said Stewart, Me know someone would have said Stewart, Me know someone would have said Stewart. Yeah, man, me know Javon, me know. But why not the senior team? How him impressing at the senior team and then on just dash him with so? SBF is nowhere near JPL. Yeah, that's obvious Javon plays. That's why I respectfully disagree with Up and Running. SBF brings more excitement. Sure. Right? But the standard of play is not. Think about it. Look how many players we see star in a schoolboy football and take a while to make the transition to the JPL. As a matter of fact, it's only in recent times, JPL clubs have been consistently giving young players a chance, It's only in recent times, Couple of years ago, I remember one of the premier coaches in the island, doing an interview saying that the schoolboy footballer them not ready for JPL, none tall. I think what they're doing, which is smart, which is something that I long advocated for, is that they're taking the best schoolboy footballers. Some clubs need to do it a little bit more, but we see it happening now a lot more than it used to, where the best schoolboy footballers are being given a chance in the JPL. Even if them not ready, they are being bloodied. Even if them not ready, the teams are, JPL teams are bringing them into their squads, giving them substitute appearances, giving them runouts and that sort of a thing. And I think more of them in recent times are ready for the JPL at a quicker rate than what would have been happening in recent years before the last couple of years. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not. So, but over the years, we have seen many players star in the SBF and take a while to make the transition to the JPL. Some make it immediately, right? Some take a while to make that transition. And then you have others who don't make it none at all. JPL hard on the ice. Which match I was watching? How did I play last night to the Monday night fixture? Veer versus Portmore. It wasn't a bad watch. It wasn't a bad watch. I mean, yes, to be fair, it wasn't the most exciting football game. True. But certainly better than what would have been taking place 10 years ago. 10, 12 years ago, man. JPL was appalling, man. To say the least, 10, 12 years. I can watch JPL games now. Some of them admittedly are poor. I remember I watched that game last season in the JPL. Dunby Holding versus Mullines, I think it was. And if memory serves me right, Dunby Holding had some of their top midfielders out. The game was poor, man. I struggled through it. Like, I struggled to watch the game. It was so bad. It was poor with a million exclamation marks. Poor. But so occasionally you will have those games that are really and truly and extremely difficult watch, very hard to watch. But the standard in the JPL has improved, to be fair. The games, for me, in my humble opinion, are easy on the eye, or are easier on the eye than they were 10 years ago. Part of that has to do with the surfaces as well. And the quality as well is better. And the coaching as well is better. Yes, not where it needs to be, far off the international standard, relatively speaking. But the JPL has improved, man. It's not as hard a watch as it was 10, 12 years ago. 10, 12 years ago, JPL games was difficult to watch, man. Really difficult, in my opinion. And I've heard a number of people express those sentiments. I'd rather watch SBF, but it's not based on quality, it's more based on hype. Thank you, Lanesra. But tell you, SBF is more hype than substance, Look, I watch schoolboy football to, see the next big things coming out of Jamaica. See the next best teenagers in the country, right? And schoolboy football isn't even the ideal platform to showcase these talents. It's far from the ideal platform. But it's the best thing we have, so we just have to work with it. Seeing, today me I watch Stats versus Wolmers, and the Wolmers captain, did well for his team, stood out. And the number 7, Satchwell, for Stats, and that's what I watch schoolboy football for. I don't business which team win or which team lose. That not interests me. See, I watch it to see the players that stand out in the respective games. right? So, but apart from that, it's more hype than substance, to be fair. And age is another thing that I look at as well. If a player is 19 and starring up schoolboy football, I don't have no time for him. But if he's 15 and starring up schoolboy football, you know, provisions need to be made for that particular player to guide his transition to the next level. The first thing needs to be done is he needs to be removed from schoolboy football. How many times we see man conquer schoolboy football at the age of 15? And 4 or 5 years later at 19, him still a play schoolboy football. Unacceptable, man. Unacceptable. When the man done conquer that level there already, that's not how it works in credible footballing jurisdictions. As soon as the youths conquer one level, they move them to the next. Yeah, me know somebody would assess Stuart. I thought about him in that forward line. I thought about him, but I think Peter McGregor is the best centre forward in the JPL from a technical standpoint that I've seen since last season. If you guys disagree with me, then that's fine. And I really want to see Peter McGregor in the national team. And Jordan Fletcher as well has a lot of the most experience out of anybody in the forwards at the national level is Jordan Fletcher. So I think it would be unkind not to have him starting. Plus, Fletcher, in my humble opinion, although I know many of you disagreed with me when I made this statement, but I think, or assertion, but I think Fletcher did well in the last time he played for the national team. It's hard to watch grown-ups can't pass the ball regularly to their own teammates. I've been watching JPL from 1993. I have seen teams like Galaxy when Walter made debut. All right, cool. All right, so that's my starting 11. That's my starting 11 for this particular Cameroon fixture. All right, something I know many of you want me to get to. Quickly, let me read some of your comments and then we'll talk about Captains, the Netflix series. I know many of you want to talk about that. By the way, I'm going to drop the link in the comment section because if any of you guys want to jump on and talk Captains with me, that's fine. If any of you guys want to jump on and talk Captains, guys, it's a very important thing that must be discussed. Javon Player says, them realize that clubs no want no old ball of a buy, so them have to invest in youth. Exactly, Javon. They have finally woken up. Them finally wake up and realize that Europe not interested in a no player out of the JPL if he's not a teenager. Look at the players that we export to Europe. All of them are teenagers. Right? Kenroy Campbell got signed by the Moldovan club at what, 19? Took him a while to I think by the time he finalized it, he was 20. It took a little while to looks as if there was issues with international clearance, I think is what you refer to it as. The oldest player I can remember in a good while making a transfer to Europe is Cephas and Talbot. You remember when Talbot went to Portugal? Both of those players were 21 when they made the move. I think Cephas had just turned 21. Apart from that, Paris, Boza, right, Norman Campbell, Kenroy Campbell, Peter McGregor. Peter McGregor, I think, was 19 when he made the move. But the fact of the matter is these are U21 players, most of them being teenagers. I think something that did make the move at 22, Faki before kissing, But look at the ones who stand out and do well. Boza, Norman Campbell, Kahim Paris. My boss test score in the Serbian second division the other day. Former JC baller, man. Duncan McKenzie did very well, by the way. I posted highlights of all his touches in that performance on my channel. Right? Most of them are teenagers, and the ones who go on to do well and do big things left the island as teenagers. JPL clubs are finally realizing the pattern and the trends. European clubs don't want 23-year-olds out of the JPL. They don't want 24 years old out of the JPL. They can't develop that. They can't work with that because they know JPL play. We are starting to realize the JPL relative to international standards from a league standpoint, from a quality standpoint, does not measure up. We're starting to realize the biggest thing them out of Jamaica not ready for leagues overseas. So these European clubs, they want the players young with potential so that they can develop them. So blood them into the JPL as young as possible so them can make that move as young as possible. Some man start watching football in the 2000s. Formula in the 80s and the 90s, good SBF players used to go straight in the JPL and do well like Chippy McDonald, Pele Wilson, and so much more. Yeah, that's true. If you know your history. Me personally, I was not around in the 80s, boss. So yes, me start watch football in the 2000s. Because of the 90s, my born brethren. Me don't know about football in the 80s, brethren. And you can't fault me just because I never born. If me did around in the 80s, me know would I watch ball game them time there. But again, and up and running, we talk a lot about what happens in the past, We have to realize that the footballing landscape has changed drastically since the 80s. Yes, ballers could have gone in the JPL a lot from schoolboy football, but it's probably harder to do now. Name me 2 star players in the JPL that people are going miles to watch every weekend. That's a good point. I have a lot of time for Denada Thomas, The Waterhouse baller, Now, me that travel a mile or two to see Denada Thomas play. But no, me just rate Denada Thomas. Me just me rate him. And me that travel a mile or two to see Phillips play as well. The star players in the JPL were all sold at the end of last season. Cephas, Bargrave, with new stars will emerge this year. Yeah. And you already start to see it. By the way, how you not talk about Nelson? Because Nelson is a player last season when me that travel a mile or two for Situina, Nicholas, And he's in what, Guatemala right now? Mackenzie, why is the minis a play? Giovanni plays with ask questions like that all the time. Why players who make the transition to the JPL, why are they still playing schoolboy football? Why is Makwan Aldridge still playing schoolboy football? What kind of fooling is that? By the way, I'm not asking you to knock up the like button, knock up the like button, because we're talking captains now, I think players who make the transition to the JPL should be banned from playing schoolboy football. And the sad reality of the matter is that they are targeted. They are targeted by old boys from schoolboy footballing teams. They should be banned from playing schoolboy football. Your thing gone way past that level there already. Why are you going down a level? They are not looking out for the best interest of the development of these players. All right. We're talking captains. One last comment and then we'll get into captains. I watched that game when Teddy Johnson made his debut for Bolton against Arsenal, and he did have a good game, and the commentators was talking about him a lot. Now our players are going to the 20th league. Yeah. We're not having players leaving Jamaica and going to the top 2 leagues in England anymore, man. They just can't make it. They can't cut it at that level. That's why I say Jamaica's footballers remain stagnant. The rest of the world, has improved. The quality around the rest of the world has improved. All right. We're talking captains. It's long overdue. We need to get to it. Right? Knock up the like button. We need to get to captains right now. Seeing? We need to get to captains right now. And I just pinned the link in the comment section. Anyone want to jump on and talk captains, feel free to do so. I watched captains. Finally, I got around to it. I don't really look forward to talking about it, but damn it, man, we have to talk about it. Took a lot of notes on captains, which I'm sure many of you did as well. I had heard that it was, I had an idea of what it was about before even watching it. Hearing people speak about it, I was a little bit hesitant to take a look at it, but I was convinced, and also when I thought about it, I sometimes I need to remove emotions and just do my job. I need to, even though I wasn't excited about taking a look at what I heard this thing was, I still need to know what took place, right? From the start, it was evident what the theme was. The theme was division. The theme was a need for unity, right? Unity within the camp. One of the very first scenes you saw in the first episode was the scuffle between Alvas Powell. Initially, I didn't see who the scuffle was with. It appears as if the scuffle was with Ravel Morrison. Am I right in that assessment? It was a lot of confusion going on in that particular fight scene. But it appears as if the scuffle was either with Ravel or Ethan, but it appears as if it was Ravel. Seeing? And just immediately watching this thing, and what I'd heard about it, you could see what the main theme was. Throughout the entire series, I didn't see any of the other teams, even, and this is something that we need to look at as a people. Why we're always resorting to violence? Why is violence such a common denominator within our society? Other teams that were featured on this Netflix series, Captains, had challenges too. There are challenges as well. But none of them had an issue with unity in the camp. And two, me never seen a fight with the rest of the other teams. Me see some, I don't want to even say arguments. I don't even want to put it as far as arguments, but to see Jamaica portrayed on Netflix. I mean, for starters, look, me not gonna really bash the choice of song, but even the song with Andre Gray sing, and it's a tune where even when we younger and Movada around the place, and it was a big song, and it was a song where when we younger, we're real to and we jump to and big tune and bust a blank forward and everything. Cause when tune tough, when tune hard, the song was a massive hit. Seen, but What them a do? What them a try? Tomorrow we flying at the sky. From big Netflix, from big FIFA. A FIFA plus me watch it pan, you know. Now, if that song, the reason why that is important to me is because it's just a theme throughout the thing. Right? All right. The song is portraying violence. You see, you actually see, we are the only national team in the documentary that was fighting, literally fighting physical violence. Why we as a people, them say we was the bad slaves still. So I guess I think we are hated them say was the bad slaves. I think them did say the worst slaves them did actually drop off in a Jamaica. If I'm not mistaken, Haiti as well. Right, and by bad slaves, you know, misbehaving slaves, you know, dangerous slaves, violent slaves, so to speak. See? So that's the first thing that stood out for me. From the documentary started, you could see the theme, immediately the theme of disunity, division, from minute one. From minute one. It also stood out to me in that, you remember that first scene where they were showing the locker room? Just for starters, I remember when Ravel, and this was something I was saying for a long time, you know, that when Ravel said there's no structure, you know, you remember that? Which was clear and which was obvious, right? Something I was saying for a long time, right? But to see one of the players in the dressing room, that's a knock against the coaching staff, you know. Literally, the man has styled Tapa, you know, when the man said that, you know. Because it's the coach's job to implement a structure. And if a player have the nerve and the audacity to get up in the dressing room and say there's no structure, that's a big indictment against a coach, you know. One of the things that also stood out to me was just how many voices was in the dressing room, and not only from a motivating standpoint, but just giving instruction standpoint. That kind of stood out to me in terms of from a tactical standpoint. Players in the dressing room saying that we need to change and we need to do this. We need to do this way. And you remember even the latter stages of the documentary when Paul Hall said too many coaches in this dressing room. I think of that him say if I'm quoting word for word. Too many coaches in this dressing room. The coaches are in yellow. Because it's normal, you know, when the coaches or when the players rather, you know, are trying to motivate each other, you know, and adapt me at about. That's a different kettle. That's a different kettle of fish altogether. See, that's a different matter. See? But just so many of them saying we need to change and we need to do this tactically. That stood out to me. it stood out to me that the players never really bought into what Tapa was doing. Andre Blake made a couple statements throughout the documentary that alluded to that. One time when him said, I'm not saying what the coach was doing was the right idea or was the best idea. That statement, I don't remember all of it in its entirety, but that statement and some other statements, when he spoke about Coach Hall, he's not scared and he's not going to sit back and defend. Right, Ravel screaming out in the dressing room that there's no structure. Right, I think the players were just doing, I think they were trying their best to do what they, to stick with it and get with it. But deep down in them hearts, based on statements made by Ravel and Andre Blake, I don't think they fully bought in to what Tapa was doing, which goes against the narrative that Tapa and him friend them kind of narrative. It's a pity I don't remember the very first time Andre Blake made a statement that I'm not saying what the coach was doing was the right thing or was the best thing, but something another. I don't remember the last part of that statement, but that was the first time that was the second time it stood out to me, and the first time it stood out to me from Andre Blake, the captain, that he never fully bought into what Tapa was doing, and he was the captain. If you're captain, no buying, When him say Coach Hall, he's not scared, and he's not just going to sit back and defend. When he was juxtaposing or implying what was taking place previously to what is taking place now, when he was talking about, the theme of that particular segment was just new coach and is a different show. There's a difference. Making statements alluding to that difference. The players never fully bought into Tapa. Right? So that stood out to me in a major way in this particular documentary. Rob Smith said too many chiefs. El Graniero, the bottom line is a captain needs to group his soldiers and build unity. If a captain cannot do that, demote him and the rank of privates. Or better yet, send him home. And we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. The documentary also showed the leaders as well in the dressing room. The ones who were more vocal. The Damian Nanalos, the Andre Blakes, obviously captain and vice captain, right? You saw Mikel Antonio speaking up more in the latter stages. Did the documentary fairly represent that in terms of what actually took place? Because it's important to note, this documentary is not the full story, It's not the full story of what took place, right? It's a synopsis. Bobby Reed as well started to talk up. Ravel, was vocal from the jump. Bobby Reed was talking up. Right? Who else was talking up in the dressing room? Those are, Taxi Lawrence, spoke up as well, which is not surprising. Even though I am of the bill, I wouldn't be surprised if Taxi looks more and more like towards the latter stages of it. I mean, and he said it basically implied it in the interview that he did on Reggae Boyz commentary a while back. He is as if he was slowly detaching himself from the national program. I think he got to a stage where him can't deal with the foolishness no more. Right? So the documentary did that as well. It showed the more vocal individuals. Ethan Pinnock doesn't look like he's a talkative person. I'm surprised Daniel Johnson didn't speak up a lot more from the clips that we saw in the documentary. Right, so that stood out to me as well. The respective leaders in the dressing room. Some of them we knew already, but Bobby Reed doesn't look like a talkative person, but he had quite a lot to say in the documentary. Right, so that especially him, that really stood out to me. Liam Moore, especially given the fact that he was a captain at the time of his club, he never did a lot of talking in the documentary either. Andre Gray as well. So that's why I'm kind of a bit surprised we didn't hear more from those players. So is it a case, is the documentation a fair representation of what takes place in real life? You know, spoke about the juxtaposing between Paul Hall and Theodore Tapa Whitmore. By the way, one of the clips that stood out to me the clip was played twice in the documentary. The clip where the fan, the spectator in the stands say, when say, we not like you, you're not Jamaican. You remember that clip there? For those of you who watched it, you remember that clip there? Where the fan in the stands scream out from the stands. Yeah, yo, you know, so I never really want to talk about that. Because you know why I never talk, why I notice it in a rap, but I never want to talk on it because to be fair, it was only about a 2-3 minute clip out of the halftime break. But I think from the jump, if the docu-series was a correct synopsis or for want of a better word, if it accurately detailed, you know, the finer details, it appeared as if Paul Hall was far more vocal from the jump. I don't think, Rob Smith, you said Tapa spoke once. You hear Tapa speaking at the documentary? Because me never hear Tapa talking at the documentary, you know. I did not hear Tapa speak in this documentary. If you hear it, let me know. Because I don't remember Tapa talking in this documentary. I don't remember Tapa speaking from the jump. Paul Hall was the one doing the talking. From the jump, Paul Hall was the far more vocal coach. If the docu-series actually gave an accurate depiction of what took place in real life, from the jump, it appears as if Paul Hall was the far more vocal individual. His last game. Halftime USA. Yes, that's true, Rob. Yes, that's true. In the Gallico one talk. But as me say, me never really want to jump on that point. Then me did notice it. But as me say, the clips from the dressing room was like 2-3 minute clips. So probably he had a lot to say when, and that wasn't included in the docu-series. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. But if the docu-series is an accurate depiction, it looked like it was really like a Paul Hall was managing the players. A Paul Hall, me see I talk to Junior Flemings, you know, and I say, Flemo, X, Y, and Z. Right? Me not see no defender who can manage your pace. X, Y, and Z. Me see Paul Hall do more of the talking, which is crazy to me. Tapa camera shy. I mean, we know that, yes, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he did some talking, but ask them not to include it in the series. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt where that is concerned. To address your point, El Granero, the fan was just screaming from the stands. You know, like when you're in the stands of stadium and a ball of the something and you shout, hey boy Ravel, X, Y, and Z, or, you know, hey boy Bailey, X, Y, and Z. Like me there Sabah in a park, I watch cricket. And remember one time I showed something to Chris Gale. Because I was sitting, oh God, what you call a stands there again? The one beside the steps leading up into the dressing room. Seeing, remember, sir, right, Chris Gale had a good performance that particular game. It was a West Indies game. I think it was West Indies versus New Zealand. But he was just screaming it out in the stands, and the camera caught it. The camera caught it. When him say, we not like you, you're not Jamaican. I thought that was very unfortunate. And the sad reality of the matter is that there are a lot of Jamaicans. There are a lot of Jamaicans who seemingly despise, because he said it so angrily. There are a lot of Jamaican fans who seemingly despise the UK-born players. And I don't understand why. Because they are of a better quality, they are exposed to better development. Not all of them, but most of them are. Right? And the fact of the matter is they add tremendous value to the national team. Without the UK-born players, we stand no chance of going to a World Cup. Now make 98 full, you know, different time. The 98 team was 2/3 majority Jamaican born and developed. Many of them were Jamaican based as well. That could have happened in a 98, a 2/3 majority Jamaican born and developed team in 2022 cannot qualify a team to a World Cup. Cannot. And that's just the sad reality of our development and footballing structure in Jamaica. So why I don't understand why you have some fans that really seem to resent UK-born Jamaican players. Like them despise. How you have to despise a Mikel Antonio? How you not see Mikel Antonio, Bobby Reid, Ethan Pinnock being tremendous additions to the national setup? How you not welcome that? These players are playing very well at a high level, the toughest league in the world. Big up, Travis. Big up, big up. So I don't understand why some Jamaican fans seemingly despise UK-born Jamaican players. I don't understand that. And I don't like talking about commitment, because as I've said previously, it is a conversation I shy away from now. Because as I've said previously, I used to engage in that sort of conversation. Such man no look like him committed. Such man no committed. But as I said previously, it is difficult to speak to the subjective intentions of an individual. In other words, it's impossible to read somebody's mind. Commitment is up here. Only a player can know if he's committed or not. But for the purposes of this conversation, I don't like to go down this road, but I'm gonna go down it because, you know, I think it's important to not shy away from how I feel on such an important topic, right? Being this whole captain's docu-series. Over the years, there have been occasions where I have seen overseas born players come into the national setup, and I have questioned whether they are committed or not. Not all of them, some of them. Because I have seen overseas born players that have come into the national setup and have been very committed. Very committed. You can't question them commitment. Mariapa, Makanoff, Marlon King, right over the years, many of them we have seen. But over the years, there have been some where I said to myself, I wonder if these players are with the thing. I'm not gonna lie. Marlon King, overseas born ex-Reggae Boyz, have questioned the commitment of overseas born Reggae Boyz. Marlon King, in an interview on coach's desk, said straight up that when he was in the national team, him see UK born players come and represent Jamaica one time, and them say, this enough for me. Me nah come back. Me nah come back, yes, and never returned. Marlon King said he say him in the national team, and that happened. So, and Paul Hall questioned the commitment of some of these players as well. To be fair, both overseas and local born. The dynamic at play is that there might be some of these players who might not be the most attached to our culture. Some are, like for instance, Andre Gray. How Andre move, or Andre Gray move, or Andre Blake flex, or him talk, his choice of music that he listens to, all of that stuff. He is fully in tune with Jamaican culture. He's a Jamaican at heart, no doubt about it. The same could be said of Anthony Grant as well, and there are others as well. But there are some UK-born players who they are seemingly a bit detached from the Jamaican culture. Seemingly, right? And to be fair, some of them grow up, even though overseas, they grow up in very Jamaican households. Some of them don't. And that's just the reality. Even though they are descendants of Jamaican, some grow up in more culturally aware homes. More, what's the word I'm looking for? More, but the word eludes me right now. More heritage aware homes. Right? Just from what we have seen and what we have heard. Seen from an anecdotal standpoint. Seen? And we have to remember that these individuals are not born and bred in Jamaica. That's just the reality. That's just the reality. So it's harder for many of them to be more versed in Jamaican culture. Right? And that's just facts. And anybody who disagrees with that is, in my humble opinion, is not being objective. Big up Draining. Right? Some grow up in homes that are very in tune and very culturally aware, and make that make that very important or make it I don't know why my words are eluding me right now. Make it important to instill those Jamaican values within their children. Others don't. So I understand why some Jamaicans may feel from the jump that some UK-born Jamaicans aren't fully with the team. I understand that. Experience has shown us that not all of them are not with the team. You have UK-born Jamaicans who are very culturally aware, culturally in tune, identify fully as Jamaicans, while there are others who, to be fair, before them they decide to come out here to come represent Jamaica, never really had dreams and hopes of representing Jamaica, never really thought about it, right? I've heard interviews with them speaking, right? Never even really identified as Jamaicans, right? Both are true. Some identified as Jamaican from ever since, others not so much. Some genuinely care about the success of the national team. Others, the vibe you get is that they are more opportunist. You have some who are, the vibe you get is that from day one, they are with the cause that it's a dream to see Jamaica back at a World Cup. Others are more, you get the vibe, it's more opportunistic, right? They're here to go to a World Cup because they want to play at a World Cup. There are some, they never really harbor dreams or hopes or desired to represent England. There are others, ever since them young, they wanted to represent Jamaica. There are some that them seem confused. I think Raheem Sterling was confused. I think Raheem Sterling would have loved to have represented England, and I think he would have loved to have represented Jamaica, and that's understandable. You're born on, well, he was born in Jamaica but grew up in England, you know, in a Jamaican household. So it is a very nuanced and complex issue. So I understand why some Jamaican fans might be a bit apprehensive with some of these UK-born Jamaicans coming into the fold. I get it. Right? It's almost a case where it's almost as if you have to prove your loyalty. If Demari Gray comes to Jamaica right now, he have to prove to me that him with the team. I don't want him forward, you know. I want our national team to take Demari. Virgin, if Demari Gray comes to Jamaica tomorrow, trust me, man, my day tomorrow, nothing could have spoiled it. But on the flip side, him have a whole heap of work in building that relationship and building the trust of the fans, getting the trust of the fans. Because let's be real, it look as if Demari Gray been a play dandy shandy with the national team and a play hopscotch with representing Jamaica. Same thing with Ivan Toney. If Ivan Toney declare for Jamaica tonight, me not go on my bed, me not sleep tonight. If Ivan Toney declare for Jamaica, I'd be so happy, so elated, so excited. But him have a little bit of work in generating that trust from me, because again, him seem like another one who been a play a little dandy shandy with the national team. Isaac Hayden, me say it on my platform already, you know. Say Isaac, I would beg Isaac Hayden to come represent Jamaica. If he comes, him have some work to do with building the trust from me personally as a fan. Him is another one where seem as if him been a player like a hopscotch. So, and you know, that's probably a little bit harsh given the details that I've heard surrounding that particular case from credible individuals. That's probably a little bit harsh, but still, in the kind of style we little. Seen? So Travis said, nah, yeah, man, more Ivan Toney represent Jamaica, man. Ivan Toney must start over. Antonio would have bench if Ivan Toney forward out. But my opinion. So I understand why some exactly. So but I understand why some Jamaicans might be a little bit apprehensive. But when the man, if you ever see the anger with which the man make the talking at the stands, man, him scream out on the top of him lungs, we not like you. No, me rate them Harry Gray as much as them Harry Gray been a play hopscotch with the national team, me rate them Harry Gray. Them Harry Gray a baller. This our brother here say, we not like you. You're not Jamaican. We are, and my thing is that we have seen so many UK born players that have come to represent Jamaica that have done so well. I tell people all the time, my two favorite reggae boys, my two favorite reggae boys of all time, is Marlon King and Joby McAnuff. Every time, Joby McAnuff made his debut for Jamaica in 2003, if memory serves me right. In early 20s, right? Got his second cap for Jamaica like 10 years later. When I see the ball here play for Jamaica, I say, how it take the brother here so long to get recalled? And all this time he was doing big things in the championship. Right? Marlon King, one of the most prolific centre forwards ever to represent Jamaica. So it's not like, and there are countless others. Those are just my two favorite that I'm alluding to. But there are countless others that have done well for the national team. Anthony Grant as recently as Anthony Grant in the qualifiers. Right? Left it all. More than the game done, is like them have to drag Anthony Grant off of the pitch. Andre Gray, Ravel Morrison, Mikel Antonio, these players have added so much value to a national program. Every time Ethan Pinnock plays for the national team, he has a great game. In a business where nobody wants it. Anytime Pinnock plays for a national team, he has a great game. So I don't understand the disdain and the hatred for these UK-born Jamaicans from the fans, from some of the fans, not all, from a certain section of the fans. I will see it even here on YouTube. So that stood out to me in this particular documentary as well. Let me look at some of your comment section. And I think and one thing I want to say quickly. It's understandable that some of these UK-born Jamaicans, if they do come on board and they don't seem as immersed in whether Jamaican culture or just the Jamaican spirit, or they don't seem like they're fully on board, that's understandable as well. They're representing a country. I mean, some of them would have made vacations, made trips to Jamaica. Some of them did not. Some of them, the first time them come to Jamaica is to represent Jamaica. So it's understandable. Give them time. To be fair to them, I think we need to give some of them time. To be fair to them. But it's understandable that they grew up in a different country. They were born in a different country. Some of them, their households was not. We seem to have this thing say, everybody is pro-Jamaican. Some people go foreign and forget about yard, And everybody go foreign and place an emphasis and importance on continuing Jamaican traditions and just, immersing their children as much as possible in that context, in the Jamaican culture. Some place an importance on it and some don't. We need to, I think it, all of our fans, we need to admit and accept that locally born players cannot get us to another World Cup. Right? Enough of we watch schoolboy football and we think the X, Y, and Z are the biggest things in sliced bread and are the best things in sliced bread. And them no measure up on the international stage, whether in club football or on national team duty. I think there are many Jamaicans that has not registered with them as yet. It has not registered with them that Ajani Talbot was arguably the best centre-back in the JPL, but went to the Portuguese 3rd division and couldn't make a match day squad. In a register to them that Akwasa Chang, the leading goal scorer in the JPL a couple of seasons ago, all now has not made a match day squad, not even in the Danish 3rd tier. Let me read some of the comments. And I don't, it's like some Jamaican fans have a greatly exaggerated idea of just how good the talents are that we produce. It was English-born players who played the major role of taking us to the 98 World Cup. Jamaica was in a round before UK players came. I just hate the division, that's why Jamaica didn't qualify. And I agree. I don't even like to talk about this topic, but I just have to talk about it now because of the context. If all UK players played, we would have qualified. I don't think I agree with that. Look, you have some people also at the opposite end of the spectrum that want the entire national team to be UK-born players. I don't agree with that. For starters, you have quite a number of Jamaican players who on merit should be starting for the national team. Right? Who on merit are better than some of their counterparts that we bring in or that we have brought in thus far from the UK. Right? We're going to play and Bailey game.
Good night.
Hey, Jane, you still alive?
Yeah, man, me there, but man, that's man.
Boy, I'm there, man. We have life, so we're grateful,
Hey, me can't tell us I'm still WJ. You see topic where they pan?
Yeah.
Why? And I tell you, we just convince you, them ball out like greatest thing since sliced bread.
Only for Jamaicans think that. Me I tell you, them have a hugely exaggerated perspective. Them see them ball like a walk through schoolboy football and them just think the world of them. And it not in a register yet say, yo, schoolboy football is a very low level of competition. Even in comparison to youth competitions, incredible footballing jurisdictions.
All right, look on it again now. Look on my boy there, Belgium. Right now, he can't get in that. He can't even get in that first team. You know?
Boy, me I wonder if him injured though, because to be fair to Maggie, him there get a whole heap of game time in the first half of the Belgian season so far, And then it's like him just drop out of the match day squad. So me I wonder if him injured.
Man, no injury, me J. Man, no injury. The man, he just can't keep up with the pace. Can never build the way there. You know, see, a Craig have to take him and a bill him back over.
Him and Craig mash up now, man.
Yeah, man, sure, man. Man is supposed to build a back over because that the man they have experience in that the field that the man they let it go. Boy.
Yeah, you watch the docu-series, father?
The what?
The docu-series.
Uh-uh.
You know watch it?
No.
You know about it?
I'm not telling no.
Alright. So they are talking about the Captain's docu-series done by FIFA.
Yeah.
That is a Netflix documentary. And it was on the FIFA Plus platform as well. Andre Blake was featured in it.
Oh, the interview when do me heard them talk about it.
Yeah. It's not an interview, it's really a docu-series.
Documentary.
Yeah. And where they are talk about the documentary. Maybe have some final points to talk about the documentary, because I mean we have other things that we need to talk about the documentary too.
You know, me did say something. You know, and it come to pass, you know. You see it? Me that said before, say, you see if the man didn't take a captaincy from this young man, he might go on foolishness.
All right, me could talk about that because boy, I mean I think Andre Blake did a good job, you know. I gotta be real with you. Look, people make mistake, but I'm not gonna go as far as saying Blake should be stripped of the captaincy.
Yeah, me tell you what me say. Hold on, me tell you me say so. You see, as a captain, you're supposed to behave like a captain. You see it? You see, matters like this, you're not talking about matters like this. You keep that to yourself. If you feel away, you keep that to yourself. You see it?
But here's the thing though. If you watch it's not an interview him doing, you know.
Me get to you say, you know.
The cameras are roll and the cameras are pick up the division. So is that even one point in time, you know? Even one point in time, him say when the person from FIFA asks him, hold on, I'm trying to find the come on for quote him exactly. I think I did write it down. Is there any friction between the UK born players and the Jamaican born players? Him said, no, I don't want to talk about that too much. I don't want to get myself in any trouble.
But you shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, Espada. And you see the thing is because you never see the documentary, that's why I say. As me say, the cameras are roll, Bergie. It's not an interview, it's a docu-series. So them literally are follow around the team, you know. In particular, the captain. But the cameras are roll and them are pick up the division. Virgin fight broken at the docu-series, you know. It look as if it was Alvas and Ravel. Right? It's a whole bag of madness they are going in that scene there. It is difficult to tell who they have the scuffle with, but it looked like it was Ravel Morris.
But me can't say something else. And that's why I say, you know. You see, as a captain, you're supposed to lead from the front. You see it? As a leader lead from the front. You start from the coach. When the coach I say, oh, you not talk to them, set a man, this man not talk to them, set a man. You see it? Then you come down to the captain. Then you come down to the team. Because you never lead.
I remember one time after, I think it was the Costa Rica game, the first game where they play in Costa Rica, where they draw 1-1.
Yeah.
I remember me say three Jamaican born reggae boys stand up and Tapa with more talk to them. And then in another shot, you see three, like the next shot, you see three UK born reggae boys stand up and attack and a Paul Hall attack to them.
That man show you, man. Or if you lead a team as a coach and your assistant if you talk to some of your players them. Well, you do your job. I do your job basically. As a coach.
And that's the thing because alright. I think Andre Blake initially did his best to bring unity. For starters, he kept it was weird because him said something in the docu-series when him sit down in the car with Alvas Powell and Corber. When him a try to say people outside the team are trying to make it look like the team is segregated and not no go so.
But you can see
But what me I say from beginning, Andre Blake, that's what him a counter, him a contradict himself because from its start, he must say him not think the unity did it.
remember the first thing he said, the first thing he said, mash up himself, If a man they want come, then come. No.
Yeah, but me interpret that statement they're different.
But you see, how he meant to say it was, anti-man them in his side.
No.
Loyal. That he mean?
No, it's father. Me not go that far. No. That
you know, hear me say, Me not say it in a bad way, You see it? But as a captain, you are not supposed to make them the statement as the captain. You no responsible picking on a man.
Me not agree with that. Espada, you put words in my mouth.
Me not, hear me I say no. Listen, me I say no. Me not, the exact words was, if the man them, no come now, hold them peace. That's the man I say. Come or forever hold no peace. You see it? Me understand that. But as the captain, I am the captain, You see it? Me not go say that out of my mouth. I'm not responsible for that. Only thing me responsible for lead the team. Anybody them put out there for me lead, I shall lead. That's my responsibility as the captain. And the reason me I say, if you bump, they will take the captaincy from him because he not lead as a captain. He always a make him mouth, a dry mouth. You see it?
All right. Let me ask you a question in spot. Would you say that the late arrival of a number of players, particularly the overseas born players, in the national team over the years, would you say that this has significantly hampered a number of World Cup qualifying campaigns, yes or no?
Well, in a way, yes, because the team for gel, and when the team for gel and go over that the early, they have to start the gelling process over again. When I imply or I put in somebody new in our team.
All right, fair. Now, this has happened for many reasons, right? Either players are signed up late or the JFF doing recruitment late or JFF not even doing recruitment any at all and the players them, have to reach out to the federation, the JFF needing to improve where that is concerned in terms of blooding these players earlier or recruiting or going for these players much earlier. So it has happened. There's fault on both sides. There's both fault on the sides of these players and there's also fault on the side of the federation. See? So I could just establish that and get that out of the way. But you are saying that you agree with me that this is an issue that has dogged us for many World Cup qualifying campaigns. Now my question to you is, isn't this a major issue? Yes or no?
Yes, it is.
It's a major issue. Fine.
Yes.
Don't you think that it is the captain's responsibility to speak or to address major issues affecting the national team, especially when him see to affect the national team since Wappy kill Philip?
But the man attack, him attack off of one side of him mouth every time. You see it?
Explain. Me not understand.
All right. Me attack off of your purpose then. Me have one. You see it? And I say to everybody else, say, yo, this a man of a play. You see it? I them a man of a nice side. That basically I say, You see
no,
it?
But as part
Listen, I say no. I'm sure only basically I say that.
Got you.
I say, yo, you see them a man over here, so we don't need them a man. You see it? We don't need them a man. Oh, me attack say we don't need them a man. Because I say, if a man then already, or if a man then no one come now, he man in favor all them peace. You see it? Me not go talk. So the reason me not go talk so, because me know me need the help. Me know my team need the help. My team need the strength. You see it? You see me go talk so? Me go talk so from way back when, from before everything. Me go talk so. From before the Gold Cup, before the World Cup qualifier before me go in any competition. I got talk the way there. You see it? Because I know me want to help.
But him did say that good. Him did say it. I never right before the qualifier start. Him did say it though, you know, to be fair.
Before the World Cup, him said.
Yeah, if memory serves right, he was around about that time, shortly before the World Cup. Yeah.
And the reason making say it too, because then the friction with the JFF over them money. You see it? And them put themselves in this place where the JFF have to go out there and get different players because they must strike over money. You see it? It all come back down to feed them decision where they made. Because if them never make this a decision, so much player would involve in this
yeah, that's true. The JFF only went for the likes of Pinnock and Palmer and Moore and a number of them because of the friction with the local born and bred contingent. You're right.
Because remember, you know, the team with more about at the time, you know, it show progression, you know. You see it? Because after the game with them beat Saudi Arabia 2-1. Remember, you see a look up progression in our team in terms of defensive and attacking.
Yeah.
You see it?
Decently. It was one of the best performances from a Tapa Whitmore team for the national team that I'd ever seen.
I can see you could have seen what he was doing.
The last game.
I say you could have seen what he was doing also. You could have seen how he implement the player them. You see it? How he impact team, they call you know. Imprint on the team. You see it? But after I play then strike and everybody a boss, yo, want more money because this and that all knows what. What me tell you how you have to ask the money, you do work first. That's after you do work, then you can complain. Do work first.
No, I not agree with that, father.
Listen, man, you see in this situation, you have to prove yourself, you know. You see it? You have to prove yourself, you know.
No, Espada. I not agree with that. There's a standard by which international footballers are paid, or a range, so to speak, that international footballers are paid for international duty. Whoever you put out there, a contract has to be written up with an agreement to play the players X, Y, and Z, right? And to be fair, what those boys were asking for fell well below the international standard of even their counterparts.
But when you look on the same way, you know, you know, say I know that then did sign for before.
Yeah, but it's a new no, they never signed for nothing.
No, me I say before all of this. Me I say before. Listen, me I say now before all of this friction. You know, say that was. They never signed for that before whole life friction.
Before Espada. I remember my cricket start about how say them need to implement contracts going forward because there was no contracts prior. It was from Wapi fill up. Jamaican players were always being paid according to word of mouth, from my understanding.
Really?
So them sit down and them say, all right, JFF say we're gonna pay on the X, Y, and Z, and I eat that. Argument done. It wasn't actually in writing.
What kind of Dalios business is this?
I'm not sure. Yeah,
what kind of Dalios business is?
There wasn't actually contracts. It wasn't. Our my crickets implement that. Occasionally it would have happened, but 99% of the times they would. From my understanding of it, there were probably one-off occasions where there were contracts for 1 and 2 tournaments. But in terms of set contracts or Reggae Boyz playing in the national team, you're going to be paid X, Y, and Z for friendlies. So now my cricket's implemented that where the contracts will last over a 4 or 5 year period where it is already determined that you'll be paid X, Y, and Z for friendlies, X, Y, and Z for Gold Cup, X, Y, and Z for World Cup qualifiers, that sort of thing. That was not in place. Recently, that has been, for the most part, the players were just being paid by word of mouth. There was no actual written document.
So basically, a backdoor business.
Yeah, then that me just about to say, basically off the books, no written documentation of pay taking place. And that did go on for a long time.
So Dandy Shandy the money I play upstairs.
It sounds like a joke thing, but that's just the sad reality.
Father, right now, me I hear this, yeah, my that me. Yeah.
I mean, and the sad reality of the matter is, my crickets them sign the contract with the players, and them contract they never make no sense because when it happened, when the contracts happen, me step on this platform say, yo, me welcome the contracts them. It's a good move, and it's a step in the right direction. But basically, from a practical standpoint, from a theoretical standpoint, it makes sense. But from a practical standpoint, because the contract them breach long time. So them no hold no weight. You can't put that in a court of law now, because for those of you who don't know, when one party breach a contract, the contract is basically eligible to be voided.
None involved.
So basically the contract them right now don't even make no sense because JFF breached that long time. JFF breached that about 2 weeks in.
Oh yeah.
That's just the sad reality.
Right.
Espada. All right. I could talk a little bit about the Andre Blake captaincy because it's a major talking point, and I disagree. And you're not the only person that has said it, to be fair to you, but me disagree. I don't see anything wrong with the statement that
I said. Hold on before I say what I say.
Because quickly, you were putting words in his mouth and apply a very wide interpretation to what he was saying.
I not say wrong.
He never said don't come in. He never said don't come in. He said come, but come now.
He not wrong with what I say, but as a captain, that's not supposed to come out your mouth.
We disagree. It's the captain's.
Want me tell me I give him reason again. You no responsive pick no player. When you need a player under Winford Schaefer, the captain at the time tell him say if he come now.
Yeah, but you can't hold him to that standard.
No, me have to hold him to his standard. You want me tell you me have to hold him to his standard? Because if I never that white German man, he wouldn't not give me nice side up to the day. If I never that man.
Somebody would have given him
listen, me I said, man, I man boss in the life, Remember that, He man introduce and the man never have introduce
man. Philadelphia Union.
Listen, man. Before Angel name up in lights. I feel it. No, when that the man there boss Angel, nobody Angel name never depend nobody lips. Like
you don't a household name as easy now. That's true.
Angel name never there in the lights. You see it? He man boss him. You see me I say? And nobody around him. And then time there be an Englishman in his side and they never make him feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like me I tell?
Well, we can't speak. That is all we know publicly. But again, that is not making anybody feel uncomfortable. That is just addressing the biggest issue that is dogging and affecting our World Cup qualifying campaign. The ball of them, for whatever reason, them are forward.
But are them calling upon themselves? They had a side.
No. But to be fair though, Espada, to be fair, every World Cup qualifying campaign, a bag of overseas born players always show up our doorstep. Whether the federation call them too late or them themselves make themselves available too late.
All right. Look on the team and that. Look, may I show you? Look on the team and that
Espada. We don't realize though, Espada, You see, agents, when World Cup qualifying come up, and agents say, boy, I'm a ball and I make England side, You eligible for play for nowhere else? What? You eligible for play for Jamaica live? all of a sudden agent get in contact with Federation. And so them things are even if it wasn't for, even if the debacle with the Austrian tour never take place. See, no for them baller they would have still turn up. Andre Gray for a long time was trying to sort out him documents. A long time Gray tried to play for Jamaica.
But so much of them want to get implemented in our team.
Fair point. I'm not going to disagree with that. But there would still have been quite a number of players who would have turned up late.
All right, me I go back to Schaefer era again. Look for when Schaefer did a prepare team for Gold Cup. You notice how he make the preparation there? He string along the match them and come straight up to find out who he want. Then see in moment Schaefer settle upon in core. You see him change the body out in core if you don't have to.
Yeah. And that's Tapa is to be blamed because the thing about it is that the team that Tapa really wanted to go into the World Cup qualifiers with, that team that couldn't get the job done. It couldn't get the job done, and that's just facts. That team they could not qualify with.
Hey man, stubborn. He's too stubborn.
So he should have been, and Tapa had no desire in really exploring the face of the earth for the best possible players that could represent Jamaica.
That's why you can't have a man who's sympathetic to people or to one side or coach your team because you're going to have this problem.
No man, I agree. Tapa really and truly never have much time for the overseas born players. No matter them quality. Me agree with that 100. Me agree with that 1,000%. Right? Tapa's whole thing is bringing 1 and 2 where him think we have some shortcomings.
Yes.
Right? So him welcome Ravel. He seemed to have wanted Bobby from early as well. And he was, to be fair to him, he was always stressing to the Federation that they needed to go to England and try get a seed here. But he never really I don't think he really wanted the likes of Toney and Pinnock and them man. No matter
you feel like you would take Toney, you know, but you see, in a fashion where them force Toney upon him, he never like that. In a fashion where he introduced Toney, it wasn't right. That time there, I never right time.
But my thing though is Espada. We can talk about what took place in the past, and we can talk about what took place in the documentary. What took place in the past, things said and done. Well, the documentary, in terms of, because you're right, I probably need to clarify that more. We can speak, the documentary is more revealing. Things where it leaves less to interpretation. Right? And him say some things in because even El Granero, he make a very good point, when him talk about the right players, For starters, me go beat Andre Blake because the way him handled the Ravel Morrison issue towards the end was not captain-like behavior.
Bump down him, man. Bump him down.
When him get upset and basically it's like, all right, so there was a point in time where Andre Blake and Alvas Paul was of the opinion that, as a matter of fact, let me read exactly what him said. Him said in the documentary, hold on, let me try and see if I can. Where is it? Where is it? When basically said that, and now you start to see the segregation. So after the Panama game, I think it was, when it did done, we couldn't qualify. Basically, him said the whole of the UK born players sit down on one table and basically isolate themselves from the Jamaican born players. Seen? And he never handled that issue correctly.
Well, I can ask a question before you say that. It come back, you see it, it come back down to the words that come out of your mouth. It have got hurt in the end. You see it? Because you see more time you talk some things and you feel like say, oh, people now go take you and run with it. People are gonna take you and run with it. You see it?
Yeah.
Because as I tell you before, as a captain, more while you feel some way, but you have to keep it to yourself. You see it? Because you still have a ship for where I call you know. You still have a ship for run same way. You see it? And if you say certain things, you are gonna get certain premiums. You see it? Certain eyes are gonna depend on you basically. Because you basically main money. You see it?
Yeah, but but because you see Espada, because you never watch it, I see your point, but that wasn't really the issue at play per se. See? The issue was that fine. Let's say Andre Blake saw the UK born players removing themselves and detaching themselves and segregating themselves, so to speak, right? Let's assume that is true. I'm not saying it is, but you know, they did show a shot with a number of UK born players.
You see it too.
Yeah. Let's assume that that is the case, right? As a captain, going about it in the manner that he did was disgraceful.
Yes.
You can't. It's like him basically I say, yo, me done with them. Me done with them. Right? Them are going with them foolishness. Me done with them.
But him done that, you see, me tell you, know. When he come back down, he thought them make.
Hold on, his father. Him sit down at the table and I talk to. When my boy will play a Costa Rica name again. The forward man will play a Costa Rica.
That me know you talk, man.
Former Harborview player, man. Oh God, where you name again, man? People remind me in that chat. Former Harborview forward, where they are tear down El Salvador a couple seasons. Tear down Costa Rica rather a couple seasons ago. Oh God. Baller name slip me, man. I'm a rating me now. It's a good baller, you know.
The short umbrella.
Yeah, you know what I talk, man. Yo,
Yeah, man.
I don't like when things up on my mind like that. You know, I have to hold on. Javanese, blouse and skirts. Javanese.
And Javan didn't play for winning that. Portmore Javan that play for. Before he left.
Portmore Javanese used to play for Harborview.
Yeah. Portmore.
You sure?
Yeah. Portmore.
All right, I'm not going to debate upon that one, but I remember East being a Harborview player.
No, man, Portmore in that play, man. Portmore left from.
Or did he play for both?
Portmore in play for.
All right, I'm not going to contradict you upon that one. I remember him being a star of the East, but all right, cool. I'm not going to contradict you upon that one. I have to double check that. But him sit down at the table and I talk to East and he must say, yo, I want somebody to wreak havoc. And Giovanni said to him, Ravel. And him said, yeah, Ravel. Right? And him basically, him not cuss out Ravel to him face, you know. Seeing but him a cuss out Ravel in front of the quote-unquote local band contingent. El Granera agree with him, say a Portmore. Yeah, you're probably right when you think about it. Yeah, you're probably right. Anyways. So him basically a cuss out Ravel in front of the rest of other player them. And I say, yo, basically I'm done with them. Because them a show them true colors now. Seeing? First of all, we can't run with that to be fair, because that is only one side of the argument. Right? We never hear none of the UK born players speak up in the documentary and say anything about what the issue is. The whole portrayal of segregation, I mean, it's strange to me. There was one like from the start of the docu-series Espada, he must the unity, now that we need to build the unity, I'm concerned about the unity. But then there was another part in the midway the docu-series when he must say, oh, the fans they must say segregation in the camp and nothing no go so. So I don't understand how the theme from minute one you talk about the unity, but yet still, yeah, say, oh, the fans them attack foolishness and segregation in the camp. That don't make sense.
Yeah, two sides of multi man attack from.
And then in the latter stages, them a talk about the segregation. So apparently there is a segregation. In basically all but a confirmed. See? So me I say, first of all, the whole perspective, we as Reggae Boyz fans need to be careful. Because the whole perspective of this segregation is only from one side. Right? None of the UK born players never said it. It's just from the perspective of Andre Blake. So we need to make that very clear. Right? But my thing is, even if you look at it and you say, okay, Ravel is being a troublemaker. Right? It appears as if he got in a spot or a scuffle with Alvas Powell. Who, by the way, Alvas Powell, this is the second time. I mean, we hear about the threatening of, the alleged threatening of Michael Hector, right? And now we see him getting a scuffle with Ravel. So he need to take a look at himself in the mirror.
All him, me not put it on me G. All him, he need to stay away and then. He not need to come back in that team.
Honestly, him name a call up in a too much foolishness. I'm see it with my own two eyes. Them say seeing is believing. I see it with my own two eyes.
The boy that troublemaker.
Is a problem. Him need to sort out him attitude. See? But even if and the crazy thing about it, the amount of goal Alvas Powell
leak.
As the national team for concede, him of all people supposed
to tell you when he lead fly off a pot. You see Mexico match.
Him of all
come on.
After the match that them did fight. After the match because it look like, look, I am this is speculation. The clip never showed this. It only showed the scuffle. But it looked like him there get loud up about the 2 goals and him concede, which is normal and natural. You know, I mean, Mina says the right thing to do, but even Luka Modric in the documentary, when him goalkeeper did make a mistake or two, him there pre goalkeeper away. Him a pre the keeper.
I mean,
see, so what me I say now is that fighting is not the way to deal with it. So you need to look at yourself in the mirror too, and your name call up in a bag of foolishness. See? So based on the fact that your league goes for the national team and you're being a troublemaker, I don't know if more see about in my national side.
Man. Stay out, man.
Andre Blake now, even if you identify, I don't know how you identify Ravel as an issue, not Alvas. Fine. As I said, the docu-series is a summary. It never, and 24 hours the camera was rolling. See, so we don't know everything will take place. We are dealing with what we see on camera. I could get the benefit of the doubt, say you while up Alvas Powell too, with film reaction. See? But my thing is that if you identify Ravel as a problem, if you identify that there is segregation in the camp, how you go about addressing that as the captain is crucial. It is vital. It is important. You can't basically it's like you must say I'm done with them boy.
Me tell you, this man is not suitable to lead this team. He might go lead it over a precipice.
That is not captain-like behavior. So now me I pre you as me used to think Andre Blake was the best, most suitable candidate for captain. No, me I pre you Blake because under pressure you crack. Under pressure, you show your true colors, you side with one side.
All right.
If you
look at this now. We are going to enter an important game. And where is he? As a captain.
No.
Listen up. Wait now. Before you say what you say. All right. You have Damian Lowe. Damian Lowe season just finished. That's it. And Damian Lowe make himself available.
It finished earlier though than Blake's season.
Listen now, man. Listen now. You see, it's still finished. I'm not going to say exactly same time, but you can say, oh, the two of them season. Finish
no.
That's it.
Andre Blake's season finished power the weekend.
Last Saturday.
Yeah, the weekend.
Last Saturday.
But Damian Lowe season finished a couple weeks ago.
You still could have make yourself available.
Yeah, but
I'm show you why.
Why?
Hold on now. Let me explain myself. I'm show you why. A coach, they never dog a player. None tall. You see it?
Yeah.
And the coach, carrying a team, can believe in you. You see it? Where I show you man now? You can't count on you.
Let me give another side of the argument. See, and I think this is something Blake deliberately does, right? I think Andre Blake deliberately keeps himself out of the national team for certain games because he wants to give other goalkeepers a chance. And I think that is fair play to him because whenever Blake is available, no other goalkeeper now go in a goal. And I think it is important for the other goalkeepers to get a run out for the team.
It is important, yes, and then can play while he's there. It depends on the coach. They can play while he's there. He can sit on the bench also and look at the game.
All right, fair point. But my thing is, Espada, if you see an issue, like him basically side with the local born players.
Because he come from Jamaica.
And I bash the UK born players, both publicly on the docu-series and also in his actions towards them. I mean, I said to myself, Virgin, hold on, Espada. You see a problem, you're supposed to try and deal with it and rectify it in a constructive manner. You go over to your fellow brothers as the captain. You go over to them and you say, my brothers, you know, not deal with so, not treat with so. Right, we've been in the trenches together, man. Just go, you know, and deal with this, so man. Come on, man. Come over here, so come sit down with me. Come reason with you, come talk with you, come drink with you.
Me can give a good example to you know. Me used to play for one team like that, you know.
What example is for 1 second, Espada. I just need to finish this, Espada.
Talk about that, man.
Don't that's what you go about rectifying it in a constructive manner. You know, sit down over here and say, watch them board over there, so. Right? Them board there, you X, Y, and Z, the board them sit down over there, so I know you see segregation are going. Oh, adapt them up to. Adapt them is about, right? And them push the segregation. And also adapt the man basically are doing the docu-series. That's not right. That is not our captain leads. Even if you see, let's assume that you had good reason and that your opinion that they were removing themselves from the local born players is a reasonable assumption. Let us give you the benefit of the doubt where that is concerned. See? That is not how you deal. And to be fair, the few pictures that was showing, it seems as if certain man are power over here, so certain man are power over this.
All right, look.
Deal with it. Go
all in a warm up. One set of man there, so. One set of man there, so. When the man them eat dinner, one set of man there on the table there, one set of man there at the table there.
All right. Espada, true. Seen? And a lot of Reggae Boyz fans was alluding to that to say, oh, the division is plain to see. Here's my argument against that. It is normal and natural. Remember, you know, the local born and base players, one have been playing together for a long time with each other, and two, them come up through the system, a lot of them together, so them know them one another a long time. It's the same thing with the UK born players too. Them know them, first of all, they can relate to each other more culturally because them grew up in the same environment and the same culture. And secondly, none of them know them one another from England. So the group just come together. It is normal and natural. So people will know them one another and can culturally relate, will naturally cling to each other. It don't necessarily mean, say, me not like you because you come from over so and you're an X, Y, and Z. And it that not necessarily mean that. I just who you naturally cling to because you naturally have an energy that attracts each other to each other because one of them know each other from long time. Two, and can culturally relate. You see what I say?
Listen to mine. Listen to me now. You're in a one team. You're a new man coming in a team. The team supposed to make you do feel welcome and fit in a system of the team.
I think Blake tried that. To be fair, I think
listen, man. Listen before I say what I say now. As a captain, you know what they said? Bangarang in a team, is it? Yeah. You're not supposed to be the one to take any sides. You're supposed to be in the middle.
Mediating.
Yes. Exactly. You're supposed to be in the middle.
Exactly.
You see what I say? You're not supposed to lean to one side because that is not your responsibility to lean to one side. Your responsibility is to steer the ship.
Exactly.
Is it? And he never do that.
He never do that. When the holes, when it really get bad in at the end, yo, the man feel as a captain, man. Him feel. Look, let's give him the benefit of the doubt that, you know, there was a lot that took place that we never saw on camera. Because as me say, we have to bear in mind as well that the docu-series is basically a summary or a synopsis. He never show everything. So afterwards, him could have calmed down and come to him senses and say, you know what, let me go over the other, when me go over there so and put my hand around my fellow Jamaican brothers. Right? But we never see that on camera, and that is a problem. Kimo, where are you? So welcome to the channel, boss.
Night, family. Night, Maji. Good night. I'm there listening to me, but I can give my view as it relates to the whole segregation thing because over the period of the qualifiers, sometimes I used to go to the hotel and training sessions to take pictures. And as I relate to the whole in the training session, you just see a group of persons keep up together, juggle the ball, par together as well at the hotel, you know, saying I have a little mixed thing there where I know then you would have seen so you have maps, Bobby, everybody together all the way over yourself. Then you have see Flemo, Boza, you know, but me never did like it. I know that at the end of the day, it never help the team. You understand? It never help the team. You understand? And when they both have an understanding and them communicating in a short space of time, it show out there on the field, but most of the things still did show out there on the field. So yeah, that person are really deal and all of that. The whole professionalism thing. If a documentary like this on the you would at Netflix, me not watch it yet. And based on me, everybody I do the review upon it. I mean, for somebody out there, I want to get looking in at the national team from UK. Maybe this is a big turn off. You understand? After watching, and it kind of show the person.
Me now go to that extreme there. Me hear other people have said that, but me now go to that. In that.
Yeah, which we wouldn't want that. Which we wouldn't want that. But maybe they can look at it and say 50 half or 6 or 1/2 dozen of other would look at it and say, well, maybe it's just the heat of the matter or the meat of the matter. Him heating and him just want to say everybody get it right. But no one got it right actually in the qualifiers. You can imagine if this is a successful campaign, this whole attitude from him, you know, should be a successful campaign, and in the end we come out qualifying for the World Cup, which it never happened. So I don't see the positives in this. I don't know. I don't even think this should be on Netflix, to be honest. Minister, the purpose be on Netflix.
We were the worst. We were the worst behaved team out of all of the teams that were featured.
I don't know, because of the potential players that we had and the expectation of qualifying. Maybe it was because of that, and we didn't, and still go along with it. But nah, I didn't like it. When we got the hotel, I tell them I see a lot of things I say a lot of things. Never. Me as a fan outside, you know, I'm drawn to Jamaican football or the Red Boys football from last year Gold Cup. I'm drawn to the football and grew a lot of passion. You understand? And if it ever change, end up come within and realize, say we have a lot of talent out there. It's just for us to get it right at the end of the day. So it's hard for me to Jamaican football. I know I have a lot of person never did pay Jamaican football attention and over the Gold Cup and last year that we attract so far, drawing a lot of fans back to watch Jamaican. But to be honest, we have a lot of more potential players out there who want to come represent the country. But I hope they don't watch this Netflix video and get turned off by it. You understand?
It bad. Alright, to be fair, as I said,
we have to try weed out the bad weed. Maybe Blake himself when he watch this video, I don't know if he's human, he will realize where him go wrong. I don't think he can watch this video and will listen to himself, because sometimes I say things, you know, and then when you listen to yourself, and everybody says things and have a card in them, they say and how they say it.
Hold on, one second, because I keep on forgetting to say this quote, you know, because this is very important, you know. Blake said in the docu-series, after the whole thing kick off with Alvas and Ravel, and also when he presumed that a segregation had taken place, where we presume that the UK born players detach themselves deliberately. He said this: we don't need the best players, we need the right players. That's what he said, you know, in referring to the UK born players. I think that is important. We need to talk about it. We need at least to I don't want it to be said that we spoke about this docu-series, because that's probably the most important statement that he made out of all the statements himself. He said we don't need the best players, we need the right players. Is he referring to we don't need the best Jamaican players, we need the right Jamaican players? Or is he referring to we don't need the best overseas born players, we need the right overseas born players? That statement is left open to interpretation, and it is a statement that I think did Andre Blake no favors, because as I said, that is open to a lot of interpretation, and any way you interpret that is a reasonable interpretation to make.
Everyone has their own opinion.
I can't defend a statement. You see, like how Espada say, him narrate the statement when him say, if you come now, and me say, no, to be fair, Espada, you put words in my mouth. You know, that's not a reasonable conclusion to arrive at. That's an extremely wide interpretation. This statement when just make me just read any interpretation where anybody arrive at via the, I can't defend this. So if you say him narrate the UK born players because of this statement, I can't defend Blake against them a statement, yeah. Because it is so controversial, it is a hot take, and it is a statement where I know say, even when the UK born players hear this, them are gonna say, yo, Jano, what my captain mean by this? Seeing? So sorry to cut your Kima. I just remember this statement, and I think it was just very important that we include this in the discussion as well, because we can't.
This is a good advertising, you know.
But Kima, all right, Kima, in my own opinion, you and Espada, on the need for watch it, because I know I love Jamaican football, and I think it's important. Me personally, I was like Kimo, you know. Right? A coach is this, me on the other day, and coach I say, your family, I need for watch. See? Because when we hear where people are talking about this thing, I say, but because me is a man, me not emotional about much, but for some reason, he's not an emotional man. See? But for some reason, me emotional about Jamaican football. I can get angry, upset, feel really sad about Jamaican football. See? So when me hear all of this, me I say to myself, boy, I don't know if my heart can manage this, you know. I don't really want to see this. And especially when you watch the introduction and you see the fight scene with Alvas and Ravel, me I say, Lord have mercy, me really don't want to watch this.
So even that clip, that is on the video?
Yeah, man. It them never, what happened, a number of people came in between them, so they never actually get to fling thumb. But there was a scuffle, and if people never come in between them, as I said, it appeared as if it was Ravel. Because of the whole heap of madness where they are going, I couldn't really make out who him did that try to lick in him face, but it appears that if it was Ravel.
You know, really and truly, when we look on it, you know, the UK players actually want to play, but I don't think they were welcome the right way.
No, yes. I mean, I agree with that, Kimo Espada. When you see the docu-series, I think Blake, him probably could have done a better job. I think Blake could have done more. I agree. That me agreed. I think he could have done more. But I don't think that he didn't make an effort to try and put his arm around them, so to speak.
Hold on, go back down to when they say from before World Cup. If you want to come now. Yeah, what kind of statement is that?
I say the problem now is father.
And he said it even in the World Cup campaign. So it wasn't just for the World Cup. He said it in the World Cup campaign, and he said it again in the Nation League.
Boy, I see the problem with that now.
Something he keep on saying.
Yeah, I see the problem with that now, Kimo and Espada. It based in light of these recent comments on this docu-series. When you add that context to it, it make it even hard for me to argue against Espada and say that his comments is a extremely wide interpretation till him even put words in a Blake's mouth. Based on this new context with the docu-series, Espada's conclusion of Blake, basically I say no on the UK born players in the team, Espada's conclusion is more reasonable.
Listen to me. You see, once somebody wants you somewhere, they might go show us they want you somewhere. Yeah? Once they don't want you, they might go show us they don't want you.
Yeah.
Really and truly, I think, well, I don't know. Do you realize that Al Grimson, the new coach, doesn't have an Instagram account?
I was looking. You may wonder if I made one can't find him my IG account.
From the first time in top, them say him at the manager. You understand?
Him what?
The head coach. From the first time, them say head coach for the Reggae Boyz. I searched for his Instagram.
Yeah.
So he's not a social media person. I'm hoping one of these days one of you guys can throw a team in one of the conference.
Yeah.
Why don't have a account? Understand?
That's Kimo. That's a very good suggestion. And
because we don't know if he's in the island right now. Like before this whole thing, we don't in the island. We don't know if they're Red Stripe League match. Understand?
Yeah.
We don't know. You don't know if they want schoolboy football. We don't know if he likes. So things are going in. We're active, football active, and we know when. Just like you see Red Southgate and Newcastle match this week. And understand? I believe we are growing up. So if we're not watch with the other youth teams from Europe or clubs from Europe, you know, when we get there, let us all live behind time, or we're far behind time. And regardless of how
we don't want it back. We don't want it back down here. It costs too much.
Andre Blake. Andre Blake. I still think we need a replacement for Andre Blake. And I don't see a replacement for Andre Blake in Jamaica right now.
Yeah, man. We have a number of keepers coming up. The goalkeeper pool looking better.
Right now, Foster is capable. Foster is well capable.
But no, me don't know if I agree with that. But
listen to me now.
He's the best
Kemar
goalkeeper
Foster
in the
prove himself
JPL.
over and over, you know.
Yeah, that's true in the JPL though. But even
Me attack
even
internationally
I don't know if I agree with that.
with
But
Portmore. When he was playing for Portmore.
you see that a couple goal though in a Caribbean club championship in a, but even before, all right, fine. Even Kemar Foster, him in the discussion, no doubt. Him in the discussion. But even before you get to Foster, you have Corey Adai doing well over there in Europe now. You have Kanaya Boys Clark.
No,
Yeah,
but what I'm saying, I was talking locally, you know, formula.
Oh, okay.
Locally.
Well, Kemar Foster would be one. The Harbour View goalkeeper would be another.
The one who
is young
throw the
coming up.
ball in the net or punch the ball in the net. Night. And so.
Amal Knight and also the one who did have him game last season.
The reason why I said that I don't see any keeper. Remember, you know, such man want to think that you local based players gonna take us to the next level. You understand? So that's why I say any keeper.
Such man not in the program again, so we don't need to worry about what him think.
Yeah. Well, we have Boys Clark and I still young.
Barnes, Jamal Wade.
Barnes look like him a model more than play ball right now. Hey, one thing you know, one thing I'm passionate in a family, I watch every one of them keenly, you know. No watch me check the touch.
Yeah, I know this is man.
Russell from Huddersfield, me keep by but Stewart, the whole of them.
Yeah.
Woman know say yo. Can me look so when the net side for call up for March. But once forget call up cause you have Mike Wesard in a play consistent. I'm a rebel a play consistent. Lati Bodier is back now. He might play a star. Yeah,
Russell not get that game from him get the injury though.
No, sometimes I see
me say it, you know, I don't know what Russell can do, and I never yet seen him play. But me notice
and then
tilt him was starting for Huddersfield.
Yeah, tilt he
but
was
then
a
look for Huddersfield's games now for see. Because I want to see the baller, but me notice that from him come back from the injury, him not play.
Not playing. Another person who is playing who is doing good. Jackson Clark Harris also.
Yeah, man. Johnson Clark are the general. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, man. Tilta play, Cousins play.
Yeah.
Play consistent.
Yeah.
You know, the guy when it get called and remember for go back. You remember that guy there?
Casey Palmer. Yeah, man. He's playing.
No,
he's
not
starting most.
He's starting, yeah, not Casey Palmer though. I'm talking one from Exeter.
Oh, Giovanni Brown.
Yeah,
Giovanni Brown, the former U17 player.
Yeah, he's in as well. And there are a few more persons. I don't know when I wait for call Dwight McNeil. So I wait for the whole thing.
Well, it depends. Does Dwight McNeil want to play for Jamaica? We don't know.
Depends on the coach.
I think, by the way, I agree now. I have watched some interviews with Dwight McNeil, you know. Him seem like him inclined to Jamaica, you know. Him seem like him little aware of the heritage, you know.
But it depends on the coach. Everything depends on the coach.
And I think Dwight McNeil is a really talented and extremely underrated player. You know?
All right. He can be a good replacement if we have an injured Leon Bailey.
Virgin, him can start. If Dwight McNeil come for Jamaica, we find somewhere put him. If Dwight McNeil and Demari Gray comes to play for Jamaica, we have to find a way because McNeil can play in a midfield too. We have to find a way for put if we play a 4-3-3 and put McNeil at the left, on the left hand side of the midfield, and put Demari Gray a left wing or Leon a right wing.
Hey,
we have to find a way.
Me love how that talk still you know, but with this federation now, me don't sure that.
No man is father. To be fair. Espada, to be fair, they have been them a try Ropino Mario Hutchinson and Lottie Bodier and them a go for them early, and Russell, them a go for them early this time.
Why?
around.
Why them a do that?
Hey,
Because we not
Louis
pressure them.
Baker.
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
Louis
yeah,
Baker?
sure.
Baker star up for Stoke, you know. And if we
Man,
can
me
pull
no
up
know
a
if we get
Louis,
Baker do a
you know.
chemo.
Huh?
Chemo, me no know if we can get Baker. Me no know if we can get Baker. A long time we are chase Baker and Baker now budge.
Yeah,
Louis
man.
I
Baker.
don't know if we have approached. I don't know if we have approached my boy the Dwight McNeil. Right? That I
Dwight
don't know. But
And what
if
about
I'm not
which
mistaken,
right?
people from Jamaica have approached Louis Baker. I know that contact was made with his agent and then the link just cut.
Remember now, you know, he's a Stoke City player now, so the England team kind of shaky feel also.
Yeah,
Max Aaron.
yeah.
Max Aaron.
But hear me,
Aaron.
before I say that, it come down to how convincing you are to play. You know?
Yeah.
See, how convincing you are to play. You see what I say? You have to convince the player to come over your side. If you can't convince him.
We have people actually can convince these, you know, oh, I'm a low score today. Yes. We have people who can convince these players, but we're not giving them a position, you know, in the inside of the safe, so them can, you know, assist with.
I think
because most time the person who actually make or get these players, you know, the person that actually is a part of the JFF, you know, they're just doing it because of the love of the country, you know.
Yeah.
I think the best form. By the way, Andre Gray scored today as well for Aries Thessaloniki. He has been in great goal scoring form in Greece.
Yeah.
I've watched some of his games. You know, he looks the part. He hasn't something that kind of try to figure out whether I'm to start him or not. Alan Pardew, but I don't understand why.
What do you
Scoring
think
a
about
lot
the
of goals.
Ivan Toney situation? Because look, this team, I feel Callum Wilson will get the nod, you know. You think?
For me,
Honestly,
I
I think Garrett Southgate would be stupid if Ivan Toney is not in it. If Ivan Toney does not get selected, I think there's a massive chance that Ivan Toney will come home. Because Ivan Toney is one of those where I think he has respect for his heritage. I think he acknowledges, knows, and is versed in his heritage. But him acknowledge that from a career standpoint, the best thing is to rep England. But I don't think he is against representing Jamaica either. But to your point earlier, I think the best form of convincing these players is to start running the federation in a competent manner. And to be fair, Dennis Strong being the new general secretary goes a long way in that taking place, because that man has a massive reputation. His business acumen and his reputation as a organized, just basically a proper businessman, right?
So,
A reputable businessman.
so we'll see a lot more improvement than with Sterling then.
For sure, no doubt.
I talk about that, you know.
Before we get here, I want to know who you think Garrett Southgate will give nod. Because remember, Rashford kicked back with Farm, with Vita Farm, you know. Remember that, you know. And these are players who actually used to the system. I'm wondering, Garrett Southgate was at that Aston Villa game, which Callum Wilson ripped through. And we know when Callum Wilson is fit, you know, he's up. So I'm wondering if he's going to go with Callum Wilson. We'll just have to see answers on Thursday that team pick tomorrow is brand.
It's a stranger. All right. So Hurricane is definitely in no doubt in terms of players through the middle.
Sterling, we know about that.
Well, we're talking specifically about players through the middle, right? We know Hurricane is definitely in, right? So that's one though. More than likely it's about 3 out and out center forwards will make it, right? Here's the thing. Garrett Southgate seems to have a preference for certain players. One of them is not Ivan Toney, right? In my humble opinion, not selecting Ivan Toney makes no sense. But I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't, based on the fact that him showing.
It don't make no sense to you.
Yeah.
You, it doesn't make no sense. But if him cutting, he don't come like nothing.
I think that Ivan Toney. I think that what allegations? Stephen Mitchell, bring me up to date.
That's allegations that I want him clear up that because I don't understand.
What allegations though? I missed that. Bring me up to date. What allegations?
Oh, you're watching the Premier League this because I only watch Premier League when I have a few one is playing it. That's my team because the striker Nicholas Hamilton I won't say he's bigger than the league, but you can see he's different from the other strikers in the league. Nicholas Hamilton.
Oh, no, the JPL. Hold on, when I get to the JPL yet. Hold on, when I get to the JPL yet. We soon get to that. We soon get to that. Hold that point. But
betting
allegations. Okay, cool. But my thing is one of the things that is in Russia's favor as well is that whenever our coach is selecting a national team for a tournament, they usually go for versatile players who can play in multiple positions. Ivan Toney is a through the middle forward. Rashford is a forward that can play through the middle and on either flank.
Yes.
So I think Rashford is a favorite of his from long time. So I think Rashford I would be surprised if he doesn't. And I don't know. Let's see who grabs the third spot.
I can tell you right now. He might go pick who him comfortable with. Who he work with before, he might go pick.
Yeah.
If I even for losing job, I'm going to do it.
Because if Harry Maguire can make that the squad there, boy.
Maguire make a squad there, man. Would I like it or not, he make it.
Yeah. So, but by the way, quickly, there was a comment on when we did have a laugh about this, you know. Oh yes, El Granero. Tyreek Mitchell is definitely a player we need to pursue as well.
But
for sure.
He never get a call
for England.
Yeah.
I think him to get a call up, but he never play.
Kyle Walker-Peters, did he play?
Yeah, Kyle Walker-Peters featured.
Oh, feature.
Yeah.
A lot of person.
By the way, I was very happy when Ivan Toney never played because why me I say hope, there is hope.
There is hope. Me did happy.
Yeah, man,
me did happy. Maybe
I feel like you want to watch what go on down here.
Eh?
Man, them watch everything what go on down here.
Yeah. El Granero said by the same token.
If we can have Ivan Toney for the Gold Cup next year, that would be good.
Yeah, man, that would be great. El Granero said by the same token at Formula, we could say we don't need the best keeper, we need the right keeper. So I like that comment, you know, because my comment is bad, you know. I don't agree with it, but we get the joke.
Yeah. Also, I don't think that right now with the team, I do not think we must have a combination starting defense run for the defense for the two spot them with Melo. Melo is not a priority to start.
Why you say that?
At the back.
I think our best centre back combination is Damian Lowe and Ethan Pinnock. I think those two are our best centre backs.
I feel so
Ethan,
I feel the way too.
I watch Ethan is back, so that is good. Bobby Reid is having a good season so far. You have to give him that. In Kiado, like he never played again. So give Bobby Reid that. You understand? Jamalo make the match card most of the things. But the greatest thing, him did some minutes and him score today.
Yeah, boy, I am hoping. Look, I think Jamal will get his chance, you know, because usually usually managers for clubs like Bournemouth in the Premier League get to a point where them start flinging anything against the wall, to try and see where we stick, right?
Yeah.
So it will come to that point the way Jamal Lowe might get him chance, him just have to prove himself. And getting his chance, because look at this. This is a top Everton team, that played today,
Yeah.
Right?
With a
probably
strong,
not all the top players, but most of the top players played. A number of them, and him score, and him start, and him score. When him get him opportunity, him need to take it.
Which is good. We have any other players because we have to be looking on the youngsters to go and just so we're going after. Because we see a few Arsenal players. What happened to Keith Taylor Hart? Reese, what you call him? Reese Williams. Williams.
Oh, you mean the one from Liverpool? Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the one in Germany.
Although
I hear that he's not interested. The one in Germany that was.
Oh no, he's not. Yeah, let's say he's not interested. But look at this guy with the passion. You know, passionate, I should say. Keith Taylor is very passionate about Jamaican football. So the best time to grab it. I don't know. He's even passionate. He's even more
wait until the man they get old and them a perform and they reach that them peak and they have opportunity to compete with England and they don't call them.
Grab them. And them look at games even though it's not tower. They say international window, but I know him that come.
Yeah.
Grab them. Make them post it. But I don't know what we are thinking. We mind the far. We mind the too far, man.
But Kimo, we have been doing that though. Lati Bodier, Russell, Omari Hutchinson. We have started to go for them young. Who we need to go for is the boy at Portsmouth in play for the teenage forward at Portsmouth. Portsmouth in a League One. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But we need to go for him as well. Right? I think we need to go for him. We need to tie him and Omari Hutchinson and Keith Taylor Hart. We need to tie Lati Bodier too and Russell. Because we haven't tied those players either.
Keith Taylor, because he's a defender, you know. Tall defender. Reese is a defender. Tall.
We don't know if Reese interested. Just like how we don't know if the boy from Portsmouth
Reese had up a Jamaican flag.
Eh?
Yeah.
Yes, true. That's true.
So that says a lot.
That's true.
At least
open to the possibility. But
you can't know if nobody interested if you don't talk to them.
Exactly. Kimo though, to be fair though, you have to be careful, because he might have love for Jamaica, but remember him have minutes for Liverpool, So he might think of himself very highly,
But come down to convincing, how convincing are you?
Yeah. Quickly, there was something I forgot to mention. Also with the Andre Blake issue. Man, I like how they deal with the fan. The fan where they tackle him, and that's another thing to why I say Blakey. Him among shaky with the captaincy in this docu-series because the fan are challenging and him literally turn around and like him want to cuss out the fan. When the fan say, yo, me not like lose, and you let in the goal in too easy. And Blake say, yo, you think me like lose too? And him basically tackle the fan. Brethren, and also this thing work. You're the captain.
Bump him down.
And it shows that he can't handle adversity. How a leader is supposed to handle adversity. Because when you're placed in situations like that, that's why you're man a real talk. When you
permanent to take it from him.
Eh?
Me not have a permanent taking from him, you know.
Hmm.
Bump him down, saying he go back to his normal play. You see it? Just bump him down for a while.
Me no know. Him. Yeah, man, Kima, cool. Him move like a shaky towards the latter stages of the docu-series, man. Like a fan. Look, the national team is performing poorly. The national team is underperforming. See? And a fan, a pile on by you. You know, trace out the fan. You say, yeah, man, a real talk, you know, man, my general. You know, we need to improve. Seeing the performances need to improve.
But you
My
ain't have to say nothing
performance
either.
needs to improve.
You ain't have to do nothing. You ain't have to react.
Him needs not to react. Although me not support ignoring a fan either. But Bridging, the Reggae Boyz fans are an important stakeholder. You can't diss the fans, man. I mean, I know that the fans give the players a warm time, and sometimes the fans can be difficult to deal with, and sometimes a lot of them are bandwagonists as well. But you represent the country. Never forget that. You can't pile on a fan.
Me can't say something to you.
Trace
Me
out
there,
a fan.
me a keeper, you know. Me keep. Yeah, keep.
You play schoolboy football?
Play under 15.
Oh.
Keep music keep.
Under 15, you know.
Let's play football, boy.
Oh, in a something there. Yeah.
Course.
Oh, that no, cause are under 16.
Yeah.
Cause are under 16.
When I play, fans out there, then tell you a bag of things. You see it? Then tell you a bag of things. Bag of things then tell you. You see it? But you have to keep your composure.
Yeah.
You have to hold your composure. Remember when I play one day 2 game. I used to play day 2 too. I got one place in a Spanish town. Yeah? And we all them there behind the goal and behave.
Yeah.
Of course, me see fans behave so. Man, I'll jam machine and I make you know. Young man, if you stop no ball.
Yeah.
And me still have to hold my composure, see me and play my game.
Yeah.
You see it? Some man don't know if hold composure at all. As me say, put him back down to level when they there until he can behave like a captain. Me now say take it from him permanently. Just put him down to level when they there until he can behave the way he's supposed to behave.
Me no know when me I got tell him say big up Rich Po. Me no know if I'm big up Travis as well. Me no know if me support stripping him of the captaincy. But and we have to remember that one, again, the docu-series is just a summary. When I say everything we're going.
Me now say take it from him permanently, you know.
Yeah, man, me hear you.
Sometime,
me hear you.
Go back to yourself.
Me hear you. But me no know when me I say no. Me no know in terms of when me would I do if me that strip it or keep it, because one, the docu-series not tell the full story. It's a summary. And two, we have to bear in mind that people make mistakes. But me I say this, and this is the most telling part of the docu-series. Andre Blake was the worst captain out of all of the captains featured. He came across as the worst out of all of them. And that is not a good look for Blakey. All the other captains, right, were proper captains, flawless captains, according to what we saw in the docu-series. Thiago Silva, Luka Modric, seeing Hassan Matouk from Lebanon, right, the one from Vanuatu. Sorry if I mess up the country name. I first me hear about the country. Who was the other captain as well? There was another captain, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as well, right, for Gabon. If I'm forgetting a captain, forgive me. But all the other captains, right, really and truly stepped up and were leaders. All of them were flawless, except Andre Blake. The docu-series portrayed him as the worst captain, especially in the latter stages. The docu-series portrayed him as the worst captain out of all the captains that were featured. And it's not a good look from Blake. K Sports TV, welcome to the channel, boss. First I'm seeing you here.
Good night.
Good night, boss. What you have to say? You're up on mute, you know, my G.
Turn on the mic.
Hold on, let me turn it on.
The first thing, but
Hold on, yeah. Hold on, my boss. Yeah, echo bad.
hold on.
I could give K Sports TV a time for sort out himself.
But man, I say still.
You're still up on mute.
Man, come out and try come back in.
Yeah, man. Do your thing, man. Do your thing.
But man, I say still, as a captain, you need to stand firm and steady ship. And in order that,
Yeah, you really never do it at all, man. He never do it at all. Him disappoint me, man. I think he was a better leader than that. In
because
disappoint.
you can't tell you know, me did a part of one team, you know, and the person will then give the captain. In lead, they go straight down in that ground. Straight down in that ground, in lead, they go. And I see me and Jay Blake a behave. Yeah? You can't be a captain and a pick side. Captain a pick side.
Yeah.
Leaders
Yeah.
a pick side. Leaders steer ships. Leaders steer people. You see it? Leaders lead from the front.
Even-
Leaders lead from one side.
Even if you think, and it's sad that we're talking about sides in the context of the national team, but even if you believe that one quote-unquote setter man now do the right thing, you can't take side with this side where you feel I do the right thing. And that's how it go. I just not so it go at all, my G. Poor leadership. Anyways, it'll get late. I see K Sports TV back. If him forward back before we wrap it up, we give him a chance to get whether upon him chest or for him chest. Reggae Boys play tomorrow 9:30 a.m. versus the Cameroon A team. This is not the Cameroon senior team. It is the UNCAF team. It is a team comprised of locally based Cameroon players, which is very comforting. If it was the first team, but I would not know if me watch that match, to be honest with you.
I tell you the truth,
very
still, you know.
embarrassing.
It no matter if I first or second team. You know.
It go rough. But hopefully the boys can step up. One of the things I liked, and this was, by the way, this was something that Andre Blake said about Paul Hall, which is true. He, even if he have a whole at 3-0, he's going to try and play on the front foot. He's going to be positive. Right?
But Jamaica is not that type of team.
Hal Grimson is not that type of coach either. Me personally, I would like to see this Reggae Boys team go out there and try to take it to them. But more than likely, especially based on how Hal Grimson sounded in the interview, it sounds as if he might go play upon the back foot. Because him already kind of knowledge say, yo, the opposition better than we. And he's a team when him buck up a side who is superior, him kind of
Tone back look a bit.
yeah, if history is anything to go by, him kind of play upon the back foot.
But when I look on Jamaica team, you know, we're not that type of team. You know?
What, to play on the front foot?
No, we're not that type of team.
I disagree. I think
Let me show you how we know say we're not that type of team. Look at when we're getting the best type of football out of the Jamaican team. When a white man, Schaefer that coach the team, our team that play. Counter attacking.
No man. When Schaefer
Counter attacking. Look
no,
man.
I remember Schaefer. Sometimes he used to counter attack, but wholly part I remember Schaefer.
When he meet weaker teams, in play Pani.
No man.
Look
Remember when Schaefer buck you were going to Copa America and Schaefer play on the front foot in another game. Him take him as best as he could. Him take the fight to them.
I'll be tell you, from where me see, Counter-attacking.
Cool.
Counter-attacking. Because when you beat Chile, okay, champion, it counter. First, when you go beat them.
Chile was a top 3 ranked team in the world back then.
I mean,
man.
man.
Chile was with I don't think Vidal
Alexis,
played that
I
game,
mean,
but
all of them play. Uncle
No, man, there was-
Uncle person ever play in that match was Claudio Bravo, then keeper. Alexis Sanchez played that match.
there was a big baller missing. Remember,
Only
there was
keeper.
a big. You sure?
Only keeper alone. Look back at the game.
Check that back. I forgot check that back.
Claudio Bravo.
That
That's what
only
me
man
say.
missing that
No,
game.
I remember there was one big player missing in them. Remember
Claudio
that.
Bravo.
I
Bravo
thought it was
alone.
Arturo Vidal.
Claudio
No, man, he
Bravo,
play
right?
too.
A Bravo K Sports.
I think
Claudio
so.
Bravo alone.
All right, I mean I contradict that because that years ago. My memory, I can barely remember what took place yesterday. You see, my memory not good.
We can
Look
touch
at
on
all
the
them
Netflix
captain.
series.
Eh?
The Netflix series.
Start over from the. Me not hear what you say. Start over.
No, me I say we can touch on the Netflix series with the
Yeah,
captains.
man. Are you with the kind of wait pan for circle back and say your piece? Go through my boss.
Oh, brother, to tell you the truth, me I watch it and it was so depressing. Episode 4, episode 4 me reach and I couldn't watch half no more. To show you how depressing it was. You can't believe say them the ego he said it in the team, brother.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, hold on. Let me try to see if I can find it. Let me try to see if I can find the description. Two things make me realize that this was not going to be a good documentary. Seen? Two things.
And the Aubameyang one.
The intro, when we watch the intro, and two, the description. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. All right, I'm find it. Let me read the description. The description say, no. Hold on. Where the description is? I now find it. Hold on. Let me click on episode 1 and see if I did under this. Hold on. So I'm gonna answer the description. All right, go through. I can't find it yet, but the description basically said that Reggae Boyz captain Andre Blake is trying to create. May I try to remember it? It's trying to create unity and
In the Jamaican team.
manage the egos or something like that.
So yeah,
That was the
something like
description.
One thing I said, you need to manage fee before you try to manage your body as well. That I first.
Okay, sorry for interrupt you. Go through.
yeah, man, just gonna watch that no more. It is just too depressing. I tell you the truth. It is just too depressing.
What do you think about Andre
I
Blake
think-
as a captain?
Alright, Andre Blake now he's one of the greatest goalkeeper ever came to Jamaica. No, you can't take that from him.
But there's a but coming. If I may hear that, I know so I'm better forward.
But I think him attitude and thing, he need to work on that. He need to work on him and he need to control it. Eh?
Me disagree there, no. Say my greatest of all time, you know.
He said one up.
No, currently, no.
Oh, no. Okay.
No. Yes, no. But him ego the same have, he need to get rid of that. Because them say they want to go forward. You can't care about them, the ego ni say. But the day the team from the last campaign come back in this. Forward them say them are going to move on from left back. What me na last campaign make you stay away there. Kia a clean sheet a clean sheet you start. That's the more see.
What are the main talking points from the docu-series in your opinion?
I mean, previous coach go through some of the Because when we realize like after most of the halftime game them,
Yeah.
and most Paul all me see and
Yeah.
take charge of the thing and a previous coach who was the coach.
Yeah.
And brother me I tell you when that the man they look like he's tricky, you know.
Yeah.
When
And yo, that's a good point in a case because, and sorry for cut your case, but that's a good
yeah,
point
man.
where we need to touch on, because Paul Hall, man, is like him realize he need to put on him foot, because you hear the man say too much coaching at the dressing room. Yeah, you see when the man, you see the part, I don't know if you get to that part when him tell the cameraman if lock off the camera. Man said to him, say, yo, lock off the camera.
Yeah, man, me see the part there, yeah, man.
Because is that me see say him is a take charge kind of personality. Like him know how to really take charge
Angle
and
things,
take
yeah.
control and angle things. In a way where Tapa never really seem to have that. That's a big point to raise case. When the man
When I
say,
look on
yo,
Formula,
too much coaching at that dressing room, yeah.
look on the man. Why me tell you why no work? Because the man and the money, you can't grow too comfortable with the employees. Yeah, boss, yeah. Me not say you know if you have a relationship with the employees, but you can't grow too comfortable. Them I go try overthrow you.
Too much ego in the last campaign, man. And that's why I feel every time I try if we start something, it just feel again.
Hold on. Me find the description. Let me read it in full. This is the synopsis basically. The qualifiers for the 2022 FIFA World Cup are in full swing. Captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang prepares his golden generation Gabon team in a massive match against Mo Salah's Egypt. Injury gives Croatia captain the Ballon d'Or winner Luka Modric a chance to reflect where it all began. Jamaica captain Andre Blake must unite a team of players, all with big ideas and bigger egos. You see, from a read that, Mr. Lord have mercy, this is going to be a train wreck.
Hey, Ali, Aubameyang situation there, the one they never so pretty neither,
Yeah, but it never as bad as ours.
Yeah.
Never nowhere as bad as ours. Never
the man
nowhere.
them just need to just relax and take instructions and be a
Start for the
unit.
leader, my G. If you lead and I lead the right way, the team
Yeah,
will go one way.
The leader need to set the right tone. Kiddo Sample said too many chiefs and little to no Indians. That's a good way to put it, Kiddo.
Yeah, man.
That's a
Be a
good
unit.
El Granero, so we need to take time with Whisper. He's a very good talent, but we don't want to break his spirit by playing him too early. I saw him yesterday Schoolboy football and could tell his spirit was broken. My thing is that you want to introduce the boy Whisper to the national team in a for want of a better word, a productive, in a more comfortable setting. That game against Cameroon is not the time to be
not a good game.
Blooding your best young talents.
I feel like a right time still.
In our match where him probably more than likely not gonna see much of the ball and not gonna get no
feel
much
like a right time. I'm explaining to you why.
We can ask why the rush?
Why?
This is
why? Because the player is performing. No.
Performing at the schoolboy.
You no matter if I schoolboy level or well, I know. Let me explain myself. Reason being, you see it. Me dey here, so. You see me I say? Me aspire to be here. Me get an opportunity to go here. You see it. Would like if you give me opportunity. Let me show myself. Yeah?
You say, but give me opportunity in JPL.
Well, I know, man.
Next level.
Well, I know. England before. You see it. Where my players of a higher caliber. than
youth teams.
schoolboy
but-
football.
Yeah, true. And prove
Is it?
themselves.
Yeah.
But there were still youth teams.
Them
not
play
international
against
standard teams.
what I call now? A team in I under 20s. I go up to.
You know, there's a lot of controversy around that. But
Me look at it, you know. Me did look at it, you know, myself. Me go look at it myself. You see it sometimes.
yeah, but it is a U23 team.
Yeah.
They
You
play.
see it. I have a couple players where did they and I see that team when play against them. In a U20 team with them play. And he never look out of touch. Out of balance. You see it? He look like in comfortable spot in the. You see what I say?
I agree. No, but it's part of. Me feel if you put that youth there in a JPL right now, him start it up, you know. But as me say,
You have
and
talent,
a
brother.
yeah, no, so nobody disputes that. But as me say,
You
in a
have
previous,
whole heap of talent.
yeah, Wally. But I mean, the first vlogger apart from Craig Butler. Me are the first person on YouTube apart from Craig Butler and Whisper Father for do a video upon him, you know. The video get almost 10,000 views. Me are the first person to say to Jamaica, say, yo, we need to take a look on this youth and keep track of him, you know. Because the youth look like him could have been the next big thing. Oh, yeah, man, he might go, me not dispute that. He might go places, me not dispute that. He might go far. It's just a matter of how far.
I win.
And when my whole thing though is that wait till him prove himself at a credible level. Before
you're being threatened. Right now, you're being threatened by the people that are controlling him. If he goes to the higher level and proves himself, and he get the coming opportunity where he can go elsewhere, you feel like they're not going to take it?
Whisper now go nowhere else. Go play.
Yeah.
No other country now play for
Jamaica.
No other.
Jamaica
Whisper, when he deserves this chance, he must get it. As soon as he deserves it. When he proves himself at a credible level. Right?
But there are a lot of players that didn't prove themselves at a credible level.
I didn't agree with those players being selected. Then my narrative now got changed because I Whisper. Look, me eager to see the youth in the national team too, you know.
See him too.
Me know him gonna do well. At the next big thing.
See him.
But at the end of the day, we can't drop the national selection bar so low to a level where amateur footballers, players prove.
Well, bar don't drop already.
Well, we need to raise it back up. That me I say is father. We need to raise. It's a dangerous precedent. As me saying in my video, it was a foolish and dangerous precedent that was set, and you need to cut. Which we must not follow that precedent. We need to move away from that. Amateurs who only prove. Me not talk about players like Ziminis. We're playing about JPL and schoolboy football. That's a different argument. Me talk about players who have only proven themselves in schoolboy football. They have no business being selected for the national senior team. But me talk I don't business what them I do in a schoolboy football. Me see Whisper for KC. Me see Whisper before KC. Me know the youth of ball and me know the youth that is a serious talent. But schoolboy football and alone were only proven at schoolboy. Not supposed to.
Give me experience.
Not supposed to.
That's about.
When him time come to get him experience, him will get it. Him time no come, him time no reach.
Yeah, give it. Me say, when the wheel a drop off a car, me I put him out there. He have to play. That's a man. You have to play, man.
Anyways, it get late now. I basically midnight.
What time match tomorrow?
9:30 a.m. By the way, guys, we still don't know where the match is. Let me see if I see an update on that.
Me have a link come could send you to watch the match, you know.
You know where it go play upon?
The link when me watch it, when I normally watch football fan it, I think it all come on there.
Because JFF said we have not confirmed the broadcasters yet, you know. Couple of hours before the game.
Right now, them man don't want to make no money.
We can send the link. We can send the link to your email, still, and you can check it out tomorrow morning
Alright.
when it come out. Just
Them
can
man
just
don't
send
know nothing about branding. They don't want to make no money.
Yeah,
Prove
yeah.
it.
All right, do that. Do that case.
Let me
Me
get
appreciate that.
me get the I forgot to send me an email address and
It in the description for my video.
alright.
You know what's for the description there?
Yeah man.
It's in the
That's a formula.
Guy,
me
it look like a whole heap of people have
Like a
difficulty
whole
to
heap of crying, me I go do tomorrow night again.
But
Or
yeah,
tomorrow
it's
morning.
crazy. It's crazy though that the JFF couple hours before the game not confirmed the broadcaster yet. So I mean, hopefully we can get a chance to watch this game, and hopefully the Reggae Boys do well. You know, I mean, if we can get a good result, fine. Even if we lose, at least
Even if we
show
lose.
some fight and show what more want to see.
Just want to,
Go through case, what you say? You just want what?
no man, me I say we just want to go out there, go play and represent.
Well, yeah.
Father,
My
me,
thing is-
Well,
you want to go play, me want to win. A long time, me and me jaw, you know,
you want to win, yes.
I hear
You want
me and
to
me
win,
jaw, you know,
my thing is look, we're still evaluating Al Grimson, you know. We don't know if he's a proper coach, yes or no, you know. Me personally, me like the signs against Argentina. So if me can see organization on both sides of the ball from Al Grimson, me'll take that.
Coach
If me
are
see
good
a
coach.
game plan, if
You
me
know,
see
me
game
feel like him at the
strategy,
first.
eh?
Me feel like him at the first. Me feel like him at work on the defensive side, defensive part of the game first before he start work on the attacking.
Him work on
To
both
me-
of them in the training, man. But in the training
Oh.
sessions, he work on the defense first.
Oh,
But him a work on both of them, man. From where
Iceland in Canada the World Cup, don't it?
Yeah,
man. And then he meet
And
England.
Euros too. Quarterfinals are Euros.
And based off of Iceland, Iceland play.
More defensive, but to be fair, they were one of the weakest teams in UEFA.
As a coach I go stick to what him know.
No man. He has already said that he plans to play
Expansive.
more expansive, yeah, given the fact that we have better players out here. Remember, you know, Iceland in a virgin, so you can't blame him when he buck up England or France and stock up
France and they
everything
coach
Me I tell him, man, you see as a
Yeah.
coach, he always a go job back to what him know.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Like-
and that's
like-
a fair point. That's a fair point. But make us see how it work out. But to be fair to him right now, me not gonna say that. It could very well turn. I have a point. I understand what you say. But to be fair to him right now, me understand why I'm gonna stock up everything behind the ball when you coach Iceland and you buck up England and France and Spain and them big star and Argentina in a world.
And Netherlands on them side.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we can see the game tomorrow. For me, even if we lose, but just want to see a game plan, more want to see structure, more want to see ideas. We don't want to just want to see organization.
Formula.
On both sides.
Emmanuel having a Migla part.
Everybody run up and down. Yeah.
Emmanuel then a Migla part, that's all that.
Hmm.
Me don't feel like him go share ball. Me
Oh,
don't feel like him go share ball in that man. Me no-
Lamar Walker that.
Yeah, man.
Why you think so? No,
Right.
man. Lamar Walker roll leather the last time he played for Jamaica.
Right.
Lamar, you remember Lamar Walker performance against Peru when the one basically control the game and knock it with him teammate, them a pass and a move and a receive it, pass and move and receive it. Yeah, man, Lamar Walker has matured as a player. All right.
Ready for them, you know, man.
Quick
Me ready for
question.
them.
Quick question, Case,
but-
and then we'll go to the last comments and we'll get out of here.
It's
That's
about
a good point.
Tyreek. Why Tyreek come back in a Premier in the schoolboy football?
Tyreek, which Tyreek that?
Jimenez.
Oh, boy, Virgin, your guess is as good as mine.
Man, I like it, man. Schoolboy football, they make the name, you know.
They love the schoolboy football because of the hype. And I'll say this much: some of them, the people around them advising them,
Nah, give them good advice.
now give them the best advice either. Because me not go give away too much. But I was speaking to someone one time, and the person themselves never agreed with a particular player going to play schoolboy football, right? And I'm speaking about a coach. Never agreed. I never thought it was in his best interest for the player to come back into schoolboy football and play for the team that he was coaching. But the person said to me, boy, you know, how the old boy them want.
Well, if you run with old boy, them that if you do.
Run with the money.
I mean,
how them get paid?
run them like
finance the program.
more while the old boy them to get run for real.
Anyways, the last thoughts is Spada first on the game tomorrow and then case and we'll get out of here. Quickly.
Well, my thoughts, you know, me just don't want to get no beat, you know. I want to win. If I ever want one love win, we can squeeze out and run come back away and jump on the plate and run come back away.
Alright, go ahead, say fling a big stone and cut. Fling a big stone and cut.
Just make sure you play the engine warm up. Already.
Yeah, man. ready for left the tarmac. Cool. Case, your final task, my boss.
Alright. First thing first, I have a YouTube channel. You can go over there
Yeah,
and
man.
subscribe.
Case Sports TV. I first may hear about you, but big up yourself.
Yeah, man. First, I jump on a panel, on a show.
Yeah, I never yet see your face before. That is KS, capital K, capital S, Sports in all caps, and then TV.
Yeah.
You guys see it. Hold on, me should stop share the screen so you guys can fully see. There you go. See it down at the NIS screen so you guys can check it out.
Yeah, man. So, my thought on the game tomorrow, I just want the Jamaican players just go out there, play with a willing heart. Or if you lose, play with a willing heart, same way. But we want to win. We go hard, but we want to win.
Yeah.
But just go out there, go play, and enjoy the game. Yeah, man.
As simple as that.
Hold on before you cut formula. I have one last thing to say. If you don't lose, just stay around the art. Please don't come back.
No, sir. How do you demand them that, man? Come
No,
on,
you can't do that, brother. You can't do that.
You
Don't come
can't
back.
demand them that, Espada. Come on.
What?
You can't demand them. You
What?
can't demand them.
I hold for that. Me get it, man. If you lose, don't come back, man. Run me in the bus.
That don't mean say that mean just because you get wally for that. That don't mean say it right, Espada.
What?
You demand them that, man. Win, lose, or draw.
I'm a side man, but
Same game, man.
you have to make bad. You take bad thing, mate.
Yeah, man. True.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Just go out there and enjoy the game, aside.
And give them the best.
Yeah,
Even
man.
if you not play well, at least work hard and give them the best. Before we get out of here, I drop KS Sports TV link in the comment section. You guys see it there, so you can click the link. You know, go over there, subscribe to him channel and give him channel a strength. See, I haven't done a live in a long time. I have not done a live in a very long time. Right? People are coming in the comment section and I say how Travis I say like something like my back from the dead or something like that. Anyway, you know, more for big up Espada, big up KS Sports TV, big up Kima as well, who was on earlier. You know, much appreciated for jumping on, you know, to the panel and sharing your thoughts. As always, we appreciate it. Big shout out to all the commenters in the comment section and also those who watch and, you know, comment, the silent watchers. You know, everybody make the show what it is on. You know, as always, man, we appreciate the support, man. I have 4,000 subscribers now. I never ever thought when I started this
You
channel.
reach a target, man.
Huh?
You reach a target, man.
Trust me, I never ever thought when I started this channel it would reach 4,000 subscribers.
Yeah, put in the work, man. That's it, man.
Yeah, man.
So, you know, I'm grateful for the support as always. So, you know, guys, we're getting out of here now. Again, wishing the boys all the best tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Hopefully we can see the game. If I can see the game,
Yeah,
I'll
man,
do
no
a
say.
watch along.
But send you the link.
I say, follow my channel.
You have channel to his father?
Yeah, man, me artist, man. That's it, man.
Eh? I never know that.
Man, me artist, man.
That's a news to me, boss. So you never or your artist or your name forward come promote the work or premiere the work. I don't understand. You drop tune and, you know.
More while you have to stay undercover, you know, is it?
But I don't understand you. If you stay undercover and you want bust as artist. I don't understand you. If you try load up your thing, boss, I don't understand you. Or you try bust as artist and you stay undercover.
Not really loud up like that, man, is it? So I see
you're not
words.
going to bust if you're not loud up. You're not going to bust if you're not loud up.
All right, now, me have a, what I call it, album I work on right now. Can get a track before I go. Can get a little piece on track.
Run it quick and fast, no?
Alright, we go. More than remember you forever. Flashbacks of the two we together. Them could buy you out, so them sell out, brother. Them grey skies are under the weather. Range of stage ups, such try out do each other. Battle the emotions, backers of flicker. Think times pass, it only make me better. Believe me, it only made me bitter. Tormented thoughts, I'm still a try figure. What could that trigger your one nigga say pull that trigger? Anytime I reminisce, me tears turn rivers. That's it.
With that, we are out. Take care, guys. Big tune from his father.
Yeah.
Big up, man, every time. Cool.
Send you the link right now, fam.
By the way, his father, when you drop your album in that boss, link me in a man so we can premiere the thing and get the thing a strength. You know.
No
Yeah,
frisco.
man, you have to load up your thing, man. Big
No
up to
frisco, man.
everybody. Take care, stay safe, and until next time.
Peace out.
Out.